Hey there, everyone, and welcome to part 3 of the magical World of Synnibarr. The name is Adam.
I'm Imsit, and Biggie will be joining us shortly. He's just stuck in a tube.
It'll take a bit of time to get him out. He also there may or may not be casualties involved when the situation resolves. We don't really know. All we do know is that we're going to jump around quite a bit in this book because there's some stuff that we do still want to cover, but it kind of gets into the weeds. So instead, we're going to show probably some of the best stuff in the book because this is where Raven really tries his best. And we're going to show off the lands and worlds as well as his monster manual. So we're going to be hopping around quite a bit on this episode of Cinnabar. So let's start with the lands and worlds of Cinnabar, which has a Birdman right there.
And as I say, the seasons of Cinnabar are almost the same as those of Old Earth, as it tilts at the axis tilts at the same angle.
Well, that's because it
Terran,
is Earth.
yeah, but I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
there's been some continental changes, mainly due to magic. Like if we'll show the world map, and it doesn't really make sense if the only continent that makes sense is Antarctica, spoiler alert, that is one of the continents. But it doesn't really feel like the proper. But then you got to keep in mind magic exists. You ain't got to explain shit.
yeah. However, the days are slightly longer, as it's only 24.6 hours.
I think that's actually Mars's day cycle.
Makes sense. It's inside Mars.
Yeah, if I remember it, I think Mars has a slight, like it's 24 hours, but it's like a little bit longer. Either that or Raven actually remembered that our days will get a bit slower due to the moon.
Oh yeah, the moon's gone.
No, no. So here's the thing: without the moon, our days I think would accelerate a bit. With the moon, as it goes further outward, what happens is it drags on the tides and slows our rotation slightly. So eventually, our days will get a bit longer. In fact, I think we get like 0.02 yada seconds a year. Like we get a very minuscule, slightly longer day each year.
What if we instead just pushed the moon into geosynchronous orbit?
I think geosynchronous orbit is legitimately within the Roche radius for that structure.
Basically, so it doesn't go in and out. It's perfect stability.
That's not good because that means that we get tidally locked. Do you want tidal locked Earth?
I don't want my days to get longer. Can you imagine that for the work period?
They're not going to care. After all, you need to be able to work for the right to work, for the right to work, for the right to live.
Ah. But continuing on with Cinnabar, 2 weeks out of the year, during December, which is called the Dark Month,
Which I
brilliant
think is
naming there,
actually no, that's actually borrowed from the calendar of Glorantha. One of the seasons is dark season.
the planet Shalom partially blocks the suns Bior and Dior. Cinnabar experiences a mild twilight condition.
Okay, so oh god, so Cinnabar is actually really fucked. So binary star systems are interesting. Like this is from a sci-fi point of view. This is magic. We don't gotta explain shit, but in sci-fi settings, binary star systems are probably not anywhere near as hospitable to our form of life, just because of the amount of radiation that we get from the two suns. Growing cycles would really be fucked up. Temperatures would also probably be pretty bad. It's just not very good for us, you know?
Though in some locations, such as the Forbidden Continent, where it is usually tropical, free storms occur and heavy rains fall for 2 weeks straight.
That's normal though. That's
Yeah, it's
that's
just the
literally
Indian.
rainy season.
Isn't that just the Indian subcontinent?
That's literally just rainy season, yeah. I mean, even places like Ethiopia can get days like that where it just rains for 2 weeks straight.
However, the winter's chill can cause temperatures of 14 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
That's
But
not
there are
good.
spells that prevent this from getting really bad. So let's show off what the world map looks like, and you can tell that it was drawn. This was drawn by a person's hand, and it's really cute because of that. Also, the Antarctic has a butthole, but don't think about that.
So we have the Arctic, the Forbidden Continent, the Enchanted Continent, and the Dark Continent.
You know what I really
And
like
then,
about this world map? There's an equator, but there's no prime meridian. They understand the concept of latitude, but longitude, no.
no,
What's that? What's
also
longitude?
the Mountain Islands, the Mushroom Spires, the Terra Islands, despite this being called Terra,
Yeah, I don't
the
know why
Antarctic,
they're called that way.
with an entrance to the center of the world trip, and two areas that are known as God's Teeth. Guess they're fans of Delta Green
Why are they called the God's Teeth?
because they bite.
Huh. You know, usually you're supposed to name the oceans as well, and there's at least enough to actually have oceans.
So, brief description then of the areas. So, the Arctic. During the past 10,000 years, very few have ventured to the Arctic and returned.
Well, yeah,
Temperatures
it's the
exceedingly
Arctic.
cold, with winds exceeding 70 miles per hour.
That's actually pretty
And
damn gusty. So there are boreal winds from what I understand because of the way the Coriolis effect works, but usually that's I think at lower latitudes. Like it's the same reason. Have you ever seen how nasty the Southern Ocean gets in terms of its winds? Like I look up footage on how nasty the waves and storms can get in the
yeah.
In the South, like just in the Southern Ocean in general because of that Actually, yeah, I just realized both of these have circumpolar currents. Yeah, that's pretty fucking nasty.
So,
Actually, what type of
despite,
projection do you think this is? By the way, hello there, NDR. Welcome to more Cinnabar, where I get to
though,
spurg about map building because I used to draw a lot of maps in world settings, and I like it, you know, it's very functional, but I can critique this because this thing kind of lacks sane geography, if you know what I mean.
yeah, but we don't have to talk about Saint geography. We should talk about the life forms that have evolved to live in the Arctic, such as moondrakes, thermal hydras, snow scorpions, and giant polar bears.
Well, I mean, you do need giant polar bears, and I do like snow scorpions. So here's what the Arctic looks like, and oh wow, he actually did think about this. Okay, so
Oh, the currents.
yeah, there is a polar current, and it is circumpolar, which means that there's going to be some nasty storms. He has thought about ice sheets. I think the problem is that he has too many geothermal areas, and there should be thicker glaciers. But I do like that he put some decent thought into this just map alone, especially since this is an area where I don't think he has planned any adventures really, because there's not much here.
Though it is also where most of the volcanoes are.
Well, yeah, basically, this is a fire and ice setting. If you come here, what'll basically happen is you either freeze or burn. It's up to you.
Also, caves of poison vapor, heated to 500 degrees Fahrenheit.
So if you don't
This
have
is
the
a
special mutation that allows you to breathe carbon monoxide and sulfuric gases, you just drop dead. And yes, there
now
are
the
mutations for that probably.
yeah.
There's an entire chapter just on mutations.
Now the Antarctic is considerably larger, with forts on its outside rim, surrounded by an expanse of mountains and volcanoes that sit quietly and steam.
I wonder if he actually knows that because, so funnily enough, the Antarctic actually had a long period of having life, like actual noted life forms, because it was part of, I believe, Gondwana, which is the fusion of South America and Africa. And it wasn't until I think about 20 million years ago it began freezing. So this could be essentially a green Antarctica scenario. And I mean, well,
Mm,
it is. It's a green Antarctica, which is pretty neat.
yeah. Between the mountains, there exist hot springs and freshwater streams. Mountains are mostly black and red stone. They're twice as hard as granite.
So Oh, that's actually an Okay, so that's quite hard rock then. Granite's one of
Yep.
the hardest stones that you can actually find. And anyway,
Unfortunately, we need
between
a
these mountains
diamond
are
axe for
deep
this.
waterways, which lead to rich rainforests. And you can find the center of the world, which is its own map, which we didn't show you, but it's its own map.
Well, yeah, because it's in the center. You kind of have to go in there to see it.
Well, anyway, we then move on to Biggie's home continent, the Dark Continent. This has a
Though it has
climate
a
similar to the American Northwest.
one special effect, though, and this is why it's called the Dark Continent, is all electrical energies stop working.
Oh, okay. I thought it was called that for different reasons.
No, no, it's called that because no electronics can work.
Okay.
And it in fact extends to a geosynchronous orbit of 23,000 miles away from the world ship's surface and 6 miles from the coast. What this means, no spell or ability above 10th level, so even magic, I guess.
Okay, I know what he's going for here. So, the Dark Continent, from what I can tell just from the way he's doing this is a bit of a nod to, I think, because Dragonlance was a thing at this time. And Dragonlance had certain limits on how strong you could get as a character before you get kicked out of the setting by the gods. That might be a bit of a nod to that. It also might be a place so that it's more emphasizing martial prowess than magic.
Yep. Also, no midnight sunstone energy. Nor can your biosynthesis cyborgs use their cocoon or anti-grav thrusters. No
So,
form of time or gravity control spells can be used, and you should not attempt teleporting or tesseracting, as you have a 90% chance of never appearing again.
okay.
Now, the reason for this is, as the alchemists say, the lack of caprinum radiation.
Okay, so why does the lack of radiation prevent me from just plugging in a fucking light bulb, buddy?
It's the Cherenkov effect.
But how does this affect me from just making a very simple voltaic battery and then just making a crappy light bulb out of filaments, tungsten filaments?
Well, I guess is that considered high technology or not?
He never really clarified the level of technology. It's just kind of weird that it also fries electronics. I don't think it's radiation, it has to be something else.
Except the Dark Continent, though, has natural wonders, such as the greatest mountain ranges on the world ship, with peaks of
With peaks of,
35,000 feet.
yeah. That's taller than Everest, by the way.
There are endless caverns through the ice teeth called the World Veins. They stretch out into the desert, as distant as 300 miles off the coast. And it is inhabited by almost every nasty monster that exists on Cinnabar. And these ones are unaffected by the continent's inhibiting and nullifying effects. So
Okay.
no, this is a fuck you island.
Okay, that's garbage world building. I'm not a fan of that. That's kind of shit.
This is the fuck you island.
That's kind of shit. I kind of hate that a lot.
Yeah. It has been colonized though by the Amazons, dwarves, and giants, with their main city of Swordhome.
There's
It
also
also
the
has,
Great Swamp, which is a nod to the Everglades.
well, it's also the largest swamp on Cinnabar, hence why it's called the Great Swamp.
Little is
Lower
recorded about its
portion,
wildlife, which it probably includes the infamous swamp puppy, aka the alligator.
then you have the volcanic peninsula.
These names are fucking great.
Oh yeah,
Compare this to Glorantha, where they have things like Genertala, Penertala, uh,
Pemaltea.
Penaltea, that sort of stuff, and then you just have the volcanic peninsula.
I mean, then again, it is like when you look at other languages, it's like, was it the Yangtze River is just the big river?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, that's kind.
I mean, some of
We
the
just call
coolest names for tribes are literally just the terms for us,
us.
we the people. But yeah, that's the Dark Continent in a nutshell. Here's a map of the Antarctic, which,
Oh,
oh,
don't
it's
forget, it
because he
has.
double folds
Yeah,
it. That's why.
yeah. Don't forget. So you have the Forest of the Sasquatch. I
Oh
mean, I'm just
yeah.
intrigued right there. I'm intrigued by that.
Also, it's filled with giant oak trees. So he's inspired a little bit by Washington State and the rainforests, the temperate rainforests that exist in that area, in Oregon and Northern California. And because he's referencing Sasquatches, I get the feeling the Dark Continent might be a slight nod to the Americas, maybe. Maybe I
Could
don't
be.
know.
I mean, if this is supposed to be Earth, then again, actually no. It's only been like what 45,000 years. How the fuck has the continents changed that much?
It's magic. I ain't gotta explain shit.
But don't forget, we have the jungle of the flies, spelled with a Y instead of an IE. Except though, in the write up, it says jungle of the flies with IE.
Yeah. I also like how there's a big load of fucking nothing before you get to the jungle of the flies.
Yeah,
Same with the Great Swamp. You get all these little lakes, which none of them are named. Like, you have this kind of strong indication of glaciation alongside a barrier peak, and then the Desert of Blind. The Desert of Blindness is essentially misery. Do you want to know how fucking terrible this type of formation is? Look at all of those rain shadows that it's getting hit by. I would probably argue that there should be more deserts just because of the thick mountain ranges.
yeah.
Actually, well, let me double check what the world map looks like because I'm going full. Okay. Okay, now that I have an idea on what the Dark Continent looks like, the desert is actually about where it should be. So here's an interesting fact just based on how planets rotate. You will find most of your deserts in the tropics. They're called the tropics, but despite having rainforests, they're also known for having deserts because of rain shadow effect. Why do you think the Sahara, the Namib, the Kalahari, and the Mojave are where they are?
They're not near any rainforests.
But they are at about the same latitude. Because remember, the Mojave is in the same latitude as essentially the Everglades. And the Sahara is on the same latitude as the Ganges River Basin.
Ah, now this is just completely destroying my idea of world building, in which I just slap random shit down.
I mean, you could do that too. I'm just that type of guy that because I know a little bit about geological ideas and how landforms would work, what happens is I look at things and I go, "Oh, okay, here's what you could do here, here's what you could do here." Like the Great Swamp existing where it does, that makes a lot of sense because there's a lot of water and it doesn't seem to drain that efficiently. Same with the Jungle of the Flies, it's surrounded by a bunch of lakes.
The other thing I'm wondering is now looking back at like Age of Sigmar maps and seeing how well those are.
Well,
Technically, they're
those
on a
are magically
technically they're
created realms, so who
yeah,
gives a shit?
they're on a flat plane, so
They're on a flat plane and it's run by magic. I ain't gotta explain shit. That's also what I'm kind of going with for this. By the way, hello there, Jimmy. I do actually find it interesting that he did make the point of ensuring that the Great Rainforest is right alongside the
well,
equator.
oh yeah, yeah, it would be.
That's a good choice.
But then we have another image of the Enchanted Continent with the Forest Soul Swallower, the Sword Glade, the Great Silver River,
That's the first river that Raven actually named, by the way.
the World Strait,
No,
the
the
Elven.
Siege Strait. There's the Segway Strait. Basically, it's a segue into the next next continent, the Enchanted Continent.
Actually, that's kind of clever.
I like that.
And then the Forbidden Continent has the Forbidden Rainforest,
The Iron Wall. The
Giant's
Desert of
Bowl,
Shai, the Forbidden City.
which is, yes, forbidden to you. Also, the Scorpion Isle.
I actually like that it looks like a scorpion. I actually like that.
That was first valid reasoning for studying geography I've ever heard.
Well, yeah, Alistair, if you're actually curious, if you want to make a really realistic sort of world building, you got to factor in things like climate, currents, and that sort of shit. Do you have to? Fuck no. You could just do what Raven does. You could just do what Germ did, because the world of A Song of Ice and Fire is also kind of horseshit if you look at how it should actually go.
Or again, you could just do what Star Wars does: single biome worlds.
You could. That way you can have 5 different Tatooines, because they always forget about the previous one that they made.
Gotta be honest, there's a lot of planets. There's gonna be a lot of desert planets out there.
Well, fair enough. But yeah, it's always good to actually know a little bit. I do find it very fun that the Forbidden Continent has almost no mapping, which I think fits.
Also, I do like the Isle of Shadow. Isn't that where the Shadow Masters are?
I think it is. So let's go into the Enchanted Continent. This place is named for its climate and the fact that there is no power inhibiting effect. Oh, that's lame, dude. If you're really that terrified of your players breaking the game on your fucking knee, you don't need to make arbitrary bullshit to cripple them.
Also, with a
Just run with it.
climate, yeah, climate similar to California. This guy's just
Uh,
literally basic. So what's next? Is it? I'm guessing the forbidden one is what, like America's Southwest?
maybe I that's a bit unfortunate because a climate similar to California, so because of how varied it is, let me double check the Enchanted Continent.
So it's on fire half the time.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Forest Soul Swallower is called that because it just spontaneously fucking burns. Well, I don't see the equivalent of the Great Valley that's in California. I think it's called the Great Fresno Valley, so I don't see that. I see a lot of grasslands, but I don't really see a lot of chaparral, which are very, very dry scrub and woodlands. I don't see any indications of a Mediterranean climate. Actually, if I had to guess, I'd say the Paternoster Sea shouldn't be so forested. The Dark Continent should actually be more Mediterranean than this. Uh, I mean, I see mountains. I see a lot of fjords. Maybe it's because it has a lot of earthquakes. Maybe.
Could be. But the only mystery is a forest called the Sword Glade, which is almost nothing is known apart from rumor and legend telling it was created by Tooch, the god of the ninja. Okay, this set. I'm won over this setting. You have a god for
Just
ninjas.
ninjas. That you gotta give credit to that. That's amazing.
There are two major
Because of this
uh,
wonderful climate. Oh god, this is the type of dude that it would totally just shack up in California. If you're wondering why the homeless population is so bad in California, it's because climactically it never gets too cold and it never gets too hot along the coastline.
and everyone kind of also just dumps their homeless there.
Well, yeah. But there are only 2 major cities, the Magmas and Emerald Downs, which, I mean, if the climate's so good, you think it would be more inhabited, especially since there's no power limitation. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, you know?
Well, do remember, how many times has the population been wiped out completely?
Fair enough, but there's no indication of ruins. Like, you know what I would have probably have done? I
Let
would have shown like a few interesting ruins that are constantly
Actually,
being
wait a minute.
excavated.
Wait a minute. What if everyone's living inside the world?
They did for a while. In fact, during one of the apocalypse in the histories, they did. But from what I understand, it's actually the reverse now. More people
Okay,
actually
because
live up here than they do
we
down
know
there.
we know that at least the Emerald Downs was founded by the Psy Elves and humans with a population of 1.5 million. There's also, besides the other two cities, another city named Valhalla, named after the winery that makes the finest crystalberry liquors.
Okay, so these guys basically drink juniper berry booze. They drink gin.
And they named a city after it.
Hey, that's not the silliest thing. Remember that the city of Milwaukee named their baseball team after their breweries.
Yeah, but that would be like instead renaming Milwaukee to Brewery City.
Well, I think that is actually one of its nicknames. It'd be like if they named it to like Pilsners or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna rename
a-
our city of Milwaukee to Pilsner.
And then the Enchanted Continent is a special forest called Sword Swallower. It's created by the Trollocs and is their home ground, a great source of evil, and is considered a place where mortals fear to go.
Well, there's also this is where the alchemists created the were people.
Also, the northwest corner of the continent is islands that have been unexplored. Yeah, despite it being 45,000 years.
In fairness, in 45,000 years, there were still islands that we didn't discover.
Yeah, but we also didn't have magic.
True. Also, there is the Iron Wall. It is an immense wall taller than the atmosphere. So this thing goes into
Was
Oh
this also
boy.
created by God to defend the Muslim faithful from the demons that have erupted after the Crusaders created a portal to hell?
So, okay, this is one of the things you kind of need to have magic in order to make this actually work. This is the reason we can't really build space elevators because when the building gets too tall, the rotation of the planet will eventually cause the bottom of the structure to buckle because of drag. Hey there,
What if
Private Penguin, the Space Bear Tower. Yeah, it
what
beats
if
the Iron
this
Wall.
wait, hold on. What if instead the space elevator just moves with the Earth? A giant tracked elevator that moves as it rotates, flattening everything underfoot.
Again, the biggest problem is the variations in wind and also just drag.
This is why I fucking hate physics.
Yeah,
Ruins all the
physics
ruins all
sucks.
the fucking fun.
Again, there is magic in the setting, so you ain't gotta explain shit. Either way, this Titanic wall is fencing something off. It is absolutely unscalable, nor can anyone fly over it, for special power shields inhibit the crossing of its border. A race of tree demons guard the only known entrance, and they keep the door's location a secret and hold this trust sacred. Some speculate that the door is located underground in a secret temple in the deep jungle. Every year during Dark Month, the tree demons perform evil rituals to keep the enchantment strong so the great door will remain hidden. And anyone who chooses to reveal the secret shall die by being burned alive in eternity in the lake of boiling mud.
Realize though, hold on. Looking back at the image of the Iron Wall, why don't you just go around it?
Well, you can, but
Nothing's.
there's an entire area that no one knows what's in it, which is interesting because we know there's a lake and rivers because we have them marked. It's supposed to encircle that area, basically protecting it for some reason. You can't die if you burn in eternity. Correct, Private Penguin. It's a fate worse than death.
Let's see. What's also in the Forbidden Continent is the Ware Mountains. They rise like a great spine with a height of 7,000 feet, stretching for
7,000
265
feet is not
miles.
that impressive. That's actually like, that is baby shit. That's like Appalachians. That's like,
Oh, also, the desert of the Shea has oases that never dry.
that sounds stupid until you think of two things. First off, motherfucking magic. But if we're going with the more realistic explanation, if I'm going to go with hydrology, have you ever heard of the concept of underground rivers?
Yes.
So, did you know that there is actually a large underground river underneath another river?
Which river?
The Amazon River has a second river underneath it, which is actually one of the factors in why they don't build bridges over the Amazon.
Yet.
No, literally, it's way too wide. It's way too wide and the ground is too unstable.
Uh, don't dismiss the Brazilians.
Oh, no, no, you're not incorrect. The Brazilians do have a habit of uh, building monuments that destroy things just because they can. They built roads all the way into Acre, which was probably a mistake.
Yeah, because that doesn't exist. But then we have the mountain isles.
So this is
These
the love letter to the
resemble
Rocky, Smoky, and Andes Mountains. I forget what the Smoky Mountains are.
also, I think that's Smoky Mountains.
No, it's Smoky.
No, it is. Why is it spelled without an E? Everything else is spelled with. This is the parks in North Carolina and Tennessee.
Oh, that fucking part, that south ass end of the Appalachians, really? You're gonna use that? Okay. I mean, I ain't gonna complain. You could have used the Ozarks.
See,
You could have used the Sierra
one
Madre.
also Angel Royal, Rage Across the Amazon Underground Edition. Finally, the rat can have their uses.
Ratcan and Rokea.
Yeah.
Oh god, imagine the river sharks like River Rokea, underground River Rokea fighting the war in the underground.
Also, so the Mountain Isles appears to be the resting home of the drakes. So they are migratory and seasonal animals.
I mean, think about it like this: what is a dragon but a large bird that has cat hardware?
Then what if they stay in an area?
Well, you better hope you have your sheep ready because they're going to fucking swarm upon you like seagulls if you don't.
See.
There's also a bunch of huge fjords.
Oh,
They,
it's a 5-year migration period apparently for some of the drakes.
I'm not surprised. Like, the mountain islands are just. It is a bunch of islands that are pure mountains. Which, hey, that's fair and all. Um, so geologically, how could you do something like the mountain islands? There's a few ways you can do this. The first is that they were a large mountain chain on a submerged continent, which has happened before. Fun fact: Kerguelen and New Zealand are part of a larger continental system that sunk. I'm not even kidding. Basically, there's these large land masses every now and again, just because of the way that they hover about on the mantle. Sometimes they just kind of slump, which is
Wait,
why
so the
you have
Kiwi,
Scotland rising up because the glaciers are getting off of it, but you also have England sinking a little bit.
so the Kiwis could make an underground empire, is what
At
you're
one
telling me.
point, the entire island was underwater. Most of North Island and I think almost all of South Island was underwater. Kerguelen also used to be part of a microcontinent.
What if we just raised the entire continent above, created more landmass?
Uh, Usually that causes another part of the area to sink or the plates to buckle.
What if we just put anti-gravity stuff underneath the crust and lifted it up?
Well, you see what would happen then is, have you ever heard of the Deccan traps?
No.
So besides the giant meteor that murdered the dinosaurs, you know that part of India, like the southern third of India?
Yes.
Well, one time it decided, fuck this gay Earth, and exploded. As in, it gave up on life, ripped open, and about a third of a subcontinent's worth of magma just started pouring out of it rapidly. This is not the
We
first
live
time
on
this
a
has happened, by the way. Siberia had a similar incident. That's what ended the Carboniferous.
we live on a hell planet.
Geologically active planets tend to be very interesting.
Also, Akre doesn't exist, and anyone who says otherwise is a liar. I agree.
NDR is correct. It's a very true statement. Acre is an entity that should not be mentioned. It's a cognito hazard. In fact, actually, you need to make sure you are properly liquored up
You do
to
not
watch this
you do
video.
not recognize that state in Brazil. You do not recognize that state in Brazil. So, next up though is the mushroom spires. They are mushroom-tipped uh, islands. They
Oh
are
God.
their
Okay, so this is
their
actually a
bases.
thing that can happen via wave action. I forget the
Oh,
term for them. I think
the
they're
top
called
spread like flat
I think they're called
mushrooms.
like pilots or something. So the way they work is, due to wave actions, they form these C columns that stand up and they're basically vertical. In this case, the tops were less weathered by the wave action, so they look like mushrooms. This is something that actually genuinely can exist. However, you don't want to build on these. They're not the most geologically stable rocks and tend to collapse within a few thousand years.
Well, I mean, some of them have bridges that still exist. The 60% of them are crossable.
Fair enough. I mean, there's also again magic. You can use magic to preserve it, I imagine. Also, mist drakes and sunstone drakes love these islands.
Yes. Also,
However,
are a
the
mixed
however,
breed of
unfortunately, every now and again, a fat Italian man will start just killing the local wildlife while on mushrooms.
Bing Bing Wahoo. But there's also a special mixed breed of winged horses and unicorns called the Unici. They are shy but very intelligent. Powers are almost legendary, and is the only reason they stay where they are and remain alive. And they are known for their wisdom and knowledge of power, having a golden aura. However, there are a few who are not good. A scarlet Unicis is a dangerous because it's total disregard for life. Why the other ones don't put them down at birth, I don't get.
It's not as
Because
interesting as the so in Dungeons and Dragons, there is the unicorn, but there is actually a chaotic evil counterpart called a bicorn. A unicorn is obviously a creature of purity. It tends to be around those that have pure intentions. They tend to be chaste, pure of heart. They tend to like virgins, especially. Bicorns are the opposite.
I am reminded of one anime. It was an isekai anime where like the guy was ended up being like an evil overlord, but I think actually it was called Overlord. And it's like his succubus servant is trying to ride on a bicorn, but couldn't because she has never had sex because she lusts only after the main character.
Imagine getting cucked so hard you can't ride a bicorn as a succubus. Here is a good map of the mountain islands, which the
So
way I'm
so
interpreting this is
beforehand, I do want to say that the Unasis, the Scarlet ones, only 3 to 5% of them are born evil.
also Squirrel Killer. Hello there, and he is correct. Earth has cool stuff all over this place. If you actually decide to look into how geography and geology forms, it's really fun. Like, here's the funny thing. For all I can maybe crap on the mountain islands, you know what I could actually say that this is? This is the result of possibly a mega eruption, like the equivalent of a supervolcano fucking up a larger landmass. Because this actually kind of reminds me of Krakatoa, which used to be a much larger island in the Indonesia chain.
Then it exploded, didn't it?
Oh yeah, it exploded so hard that the world temperatures dropped by a degree and a half, and the eruption was heard literally across the world. It sounded
Oh
like a
yeah.
gunshot.
Didn't we have? Don't we have a recording of that?
No,
Oh, that was fake.
we have a recording of
Fuck.
Tunguska. We don't have a recording of Krakatoa.
So let's see here. The Unici are hard to capture, even for someone with the same aura. They will usually allow a captor to use them as a permanent mount. However, you need to be at sunrise and on an island.
This is an
Why? What?
interesting
Why are we now going
decision.
in? Yeah,
This
we're
is a
now
weird
going.
decision to talk about your winged unicorns.
Just say they're hard to capture. Like,
Oh, and if a Drake gets to the adventurer first, because you blow the horn, and what can happen is the Drakes will occur. Because apparently Unices are their favorites. Or
I
maybe
guess would
Drakes are
make
man-eaters, I
sense.
don't know. And if
There's
they
also,
attack you, you're
yeah.
fucked. So there's I don't know why you spent so much effort on this weird little side mechanic that doesn't matter.
There's also a mushroom called the Saishin. It grows in the shit left behind by, well, not shit, dung left behind by sunstone creatures such as drakes, grizzlies, and hydras. Wait a minute. Golden mystical shit from creatures such as bears?
Yeah, you didn't know, but
Elden Ring stole from this game.
it probably did. They were very much fans of a lot of TTRPGs. All I do know is if you're wondering what Saishin is, remember the mushrooms that the Shadow Lords feed you that they basically do to make you
Uh,
suffer an ego death moment and crash out? It's
oh
that,
yeah.
and that's why they have to be there to essentially stitch your brain back together. Otherwise, you basically OD on the best ayahuasca trip ever. Either that or die screaming from the nightmares. It depends on how your trip goes.
Then we have the Chandrial Plain of Mist. It is a floating continent.
Oh, okay.
Little is known
Okay, I
about
like
the
where you're
island.
going with this. Floating
Is it?
continents are fun. Final Fantasy 3 had one, and that's where you start. Yeah, I like where
Oh,
you're going with
I
this.
honestly I was gonna say, did you know that billions of years ago there used to be a floating island in the world?
What, you actually
I
thought that
would
I would be able to explain how a floating continent would work geologically speaking?
I have no idea. I'm now learning about the fact that like there's underwater continent. Well, I knew there were, but like just all the crazy shit that can happen.
Well, I unfortunately have to state that while it is not possible for floating continents, on rare occasions there have been floating islands. They last a
How?
grand total of a couple of days, and they only occur when large volcanoes erupt a lot of gas-filled lava, and it mostly turns to pumice. Pumice, if it has the right gas consistency and enough bubbles inside of it, is less dense than water and can float. So you can actually have small, very temporary, tiny islets that are made out of floating piles of pumice before they get clogged with water and sink and break apart because they're very fragile. They don't last long and they're very rare. And they're not very big. We're talking like less than an acre. If you think that's mind blowing, I should tell you about how we once found Earth rocks on Mars. I think.
I'm presuming from an asteroid strike or something like that.
Oh no, from the time another planet smashed into us to make the moon.
Oh,
You can find
actually,
Earth meteorites occasionally on
actually,
other.
I I'll be honest. That is kind of impressive given the astronomical chance.
Oh yeah, especially since it is very common for during solar system formation for the largest. The gas giant is always the first one to form. The largest of the gas giants are usually the first to form. It's very common for them to just spin right next to the sun. For whatever reason, the gravity just makes them yeet their way towards the innermost ring. Hot Jupiters are disturbingly common.
Also, probably don't know why sometimes comments don't appear up. I noticed that too.
It might be some weird YouTube filter. I have it on live chat because I try to make sure that I see everyone's comments, no matter how silly they are. Democracy is, after all, I love it. I love democracy.
So, let's see. Within the Chandral Mountains is a special ore called Graverite. Contains two special metals: forgotten steel and gravanium in their ore state.
Okay, we got some unobtainium. I like where we're going with this. Also, floating continents are fun.
Yeah. Graverite is what keeps the plane floating 1 or 2 miles above
Okay,
Cinnabar's surface.
okay, that makes it. Okay, so we have this magical stone that basically emits anti-gravitons.
It's also invisible until you're within 100 yards.
That's dumb. Oh, actually, no, wait, it's not dumb. I know how to explain this. Gravity, when influencing hard enough on an area around itself, distorts light. That's why you can see light bend around a black hole. And we actually have some images of them now. So yeah, that's why I can do it. Either that or it's just because he doesn't
Oh,
want to make it too easy for you to find
yeah.
it.
Also, the planes nullify practically all forms of power and technology.
Oh, piss off.
But some they're not completely unworking. They require 4 times the Constitution. Uh, but organic electronics will function normally.
Yeah,
The
Private
land on the
Penguin, if you're wondering,
yeah.
gravity, it's a force that's actually relatively weak, but if there's enough of it in an area, it can affect the electromagnetic wave length.
What are the other forces?
Strong nuclear and weak nuclear. Electromagnetic, strong force, weak force, which is usually involved in decay, radioactive decay, and gravity, which is the accumulation of matter.
So
I I
let's see.
re-
On the
I,
pl-
I hate this decision that he keeps doing because he's just Okay, so Raven,
Oh no, no. Here's what explains it. As with the Dark Continent, any creature native to the area who has lived in the area for at least 5 years is immune to the nullifying effects,
fuck
and
yourself.
so that explains why the magic, these creatures use their magic. They live there.
Admittedly, this is a concept called adaptation, and species tend to be very good for certain niches. The problem is this is just done specifically to punish players and allow him to just use whatever bullshit he wants. I really fucking hate this. I really fucking hate this philosophy as a DM because I'm of the opinion that you try to play by both sides of the rule. So if they cheat, you cheat harder. But if they play fair, you fucking play fair too. This is just horse shit.
Also, the Shan are here.
Oh, they are?
They've lived here for centuries. They've completely detached from the rest of the world to the extent fanatic about the destruction of any beings that have ever touched the surface of Cinnabar.
Seriously?
They consider the merest caresses of the tallest tree cause for a life of slavery, torture, and eventual death.
And they have somehow mastered all of the types of magic.
By learning from the early outsiders who attempted expeditions and presumably killing them.
Eh. I like where he goes sometimes, but then he just does things where I'm like, okay, I know he did this specifically so he had characters that could defeat his players. He must have
Then we
had
have
some
the
real asshole
yeah.
metagamers and
then we
power
have the
gamers.
oceans, which is the Sapphire Deep, because it's a body of water that looks like sapphire. Oh, that's red water.
I mean,
That's
think
not true.
about it like this. The Red Sea was called that way because of the reeds and the fact that it occasionally had big blooms of red algae. I forget
Also,
what the why
I
the
bet
Black Sea was called the way it
yeah.
was, but the Mediterranean was called that because it literally meant middle of Earth Sea. Indian Ocean got the name because it surrounded the Indies. The Pacific got the name because I believe at the time it was thought to be the calmest of the oceans. I think,
Makes sense given the name.
and I think Atlantic Ocean got its origins from Atlantis.
It's out there.
Possibly, I don't fucking know. I know the North Sea got its name because it's the sea in the north, mate.
So, but God's teeth got its name because the ocean was cursed by the god of the seas in retribution for the theft of his daughter by the king of the sea drakes.
Okay,
Plagued with high wings, the ocean's breakers are always white capped, giving the water the appearance of teeth ready to devour all sailors who attempt it.
okay. I like that. I like the concept. I don't think it should be the entire fucking ocean, but a stretch of it should definitely be like this. Is Atlantis real? So, Private Penguin, Atlantis was not. It was not supposed to be real. It was supposed to be an allegory. What
No,
happened though is
it is
with allegories, there are always people that if you try to use a metaphor or a story, are just really fucking stupid.
no, it is real. That's where the white people come from. The Asian people, they come from Mu. And Limeria, that's where the red people come from. If I remember that one crazy Chilean.
You are correct in what that's what he thought, but the funny thing about Lemuria was it legitimately was a sunken continent hypothesis to explain where lemurs came from. That's where it got the name. But it was supposed to be an allegory. Then what happened was it was thought to perhaps be based on the island of Santorini in the Minoan civilization, which basically got destroyed by a fuck off volcano. Then it was thought, because of course it is, that it has to be the super advanced civilization. I mean, I haven't read no book, but the guy in my head, the guy who claims to be possessed by the Egyptian god of knowledge for whatever told me so.
It's where the Agarthans come from, and the true race of Nim
It's the same logic that so
and the Jews.
it's the same logic if you want to know where the idea that orcs equal black people and now Mexicans come from. You can thank Shadowrun for that, and you can also thank the morons essentially misinterpreting Pratchett's concept of white and black don't really find a need to hate each other if they have green to collectively beat up. it's the same logic. Some people are just clinically unable to understand metaphor.
Listen, listen. Clearly, the Earth has been around for 7,000 years, or 6,000 years, and God literally created it in 6 days. It says so in the book that's been translated into my language.
Also, no Private Penguin. I actually like Shadowrun quite a bit. Fifth edition is kind of a shit show in order to run because it's just a lot of mechanics to learn, but I like it. Fourth edition's a lot easier to get into, and third is kind of the most polished of the OG stuff. Sixth edition can die in a fire though. I would prefer it to get killed in nuclear hellfire,
But
ideally.
but now we can go to the center of the world.
This is
And as
actually
stated
one of
earlier,
the neater areas,
yep,
yeah.
Cinnabar is in reality the planet Mars, hollowed out and made into a starship.
Oh, okay. So that's why. That's why it looks
That's
the.
why it's
Okay,
so it's
that
not
makes a
Earth.
lot more sense. Okay.
The inner world, though, is called the Garden, lit by an artificial sun, which is in turn suspended on what seems to be a thread. The thread is a ruined city and star drive known as the Womb. The city was destroyed by an explosion that caused radioactive fires. As a result, 99% of the Womb is a molten slag. The remaining 1% is inhabited by a race called the Scarlet Insectivoids.
Okay. I like where this is going. In some places, the fires still burn, giving the thread the appearance of a thin constellation of fire-red stars at night. Well, we know why the explosion happened. Remember, a mutant spontaneously was born and turned into an adult in less than a day to mind control her way into causing this to happen. Although the womb is ruined, artificial gravity and internal ecosystems still function, but only at the lowest levels. The internal sun and the seasons are regulated so the normal sequence of nature can take place in its course. The womb stretches from east to west with the sun at its center. The sun is 500 miles in diameter, while the city is 50 miles wide. And the entrance to the center of the world is in the Antarctic, if you're wondering. And he just goes into big details about how to get in here, which I think is kind of needed because some of the craziest adventures probably take place here. Let's see. There are no railings or handhelds because fuck that. We don't need that where we're going. OSHA, more like no show. After 14 miles, there's the Null Field. This field is 10 feet thick and cannot be canceled by any force wielded by mortals, aka go fuck yourself. You're gonna have to go on my shitty railroad as a DM. The only positive factor about this field is it will not absorb life force and therefore allows being to pass without fearing death. Okay. Oh, okay.
Hey,
Okay.
look who's back from the womb.
Hello? Hello?
Hey! I knew we'd find you in the center of the world.
I'm currently in the wilderness right now. I don't know where I'm at. Oh,
Have you tried looking north?
there just is this. I don't know where the streetlights are. It's not working.
Now, what about Moss? Moss always points to civilization.
It does?
SpongeBob told me that, and when has SpongeBob lied to me?
That
That's a
is
good point.
true. You can drive a rock. The pioneers used to drive them for miles.
Well, before I slowly starve to death, I guess we can talk about Cinnabar. That's a
All right.
So yeah, we're at the center of the
we're,
world. So it takes a lot of effort to get here. But when you do, there exists a very unusual effect. It's similar to the Wear Storm, which we still don't know what a Wear Storm is. I think it's just Magic Storm. But instead of
Uh,
completely canceling powers, it dampens them because this. So here's the thing: Raven has a habit of loving to nerf his players' powers just so he can hit them with the full force of a monster's powers, which is just bullshit.
I think the idea he's supposed to be going for, it's like, oh, hey, you're min maxing there a little too much. I'm gonna pull some debuffs your way to see if you get creative.
Yeah, but the
that
problem is
has to
over
be.
half the
Notable.
fucking planet has this problem.
Or as I like to call it, GM having a giggle.
So no spell or ability can function above third level. Strength is reduced to the following maximums: Immortals to 50, Demigods to 100, Gods to 150. So yeah, this was done. I think what happened was he had some of the shittiest players humanly possible This can happen sometimes if you're playtesting or if you're just running games for randos. You just run into the greatest of specimens that make you go, oh, I fucking hate these people so much.
Now,
This is the
as
power
was
gaming type.
now as was explained, Cinnabar was destroyed before it even began because of a mutant. However, she was trapped in a gravity time warp. Now the gravity warp is generating vast power, which is feeding the reactor through her. As temporal barriers are disrupted by her powers, she does not age or feel the effects of the energy she channels, and her prism will remain in existence until time stands still.
Imagine being just born, becoming an adult spontaneously, and wanting to destroy this thing just because, fuck it, I guess, and being trapped forever.
For the evils.
So, okay, here's my problem though. Because one of the continents you actually are punished for having spells above 10th level, and here you're punished for having spells above 3rd, even though it has the radiation that the previous place didn't. That is allegedly the reason that magic and electricity doesn't work.
Adam,
So-
it's like the warp from 40K. You see, it's cool. Why?
So,
I just think that if
well,
you're
we
that
also
worried about players being that broken, you could have just fucking adjusted the classes, buddy.
I need to point out something by NDR. Werestorm is just when it starts running werecats and weredogs.
Where's Storm? Where's Storm at?
Where's
Where's
Storm?
Storm?
So the nullification also has a side effect of leaking technetium and caprium. This radiation is what allows powers to flow. The combination of two elements inside the body allows someone to metabolize and use the powers they have.
I think caprium is actually an old-timey term for one of the synthetic elements we just discovered in the 90s. I know that technetium is actually element 43, which for the longest of times we did not actually have on the periodic table, just because it was thought that, yes, hypothetically there should be an element 43, but we haven't found any examples of it in the wild. And then when we finally made it, we found out it's because it's radioactive. It's not massively
By the
radioactive, but it has a habit of turning into, I forget what element 42 is. It basically breaks off a bit and forms into like iron and shit over the course
way,
of a
guys,
couple of thousand years.
can you tell me which page we're at so I can use my mutant powers to psionically tune into it?
Page 164 on our PDF.
Use your sidecasters, but make sure to not use the what was the thing that we found that had the ability to kill everyone within a 50-foot radius?
The electron.
Oh yeah, the electron. Oh yeah, the electron disabler, the one that basically makes all electron movement everywhere stop in 50 feet.
Well, it's meant to be electronics, but the fact that it just says electrons.
No,
makes it
I
even
love
funnier.
it though. I love it though because it culminates in the idea of you press the button and everything around you within 50 meters of you just spontaneously turns into degenerate neutron matter and fucking explodes.
I mean, to be fair, if you got shot by a concentrated neutron laser, I would imagine that wouldn't be good.
Oh no, everyone would be dead. At least if you're going with physics. I think that's if I'm getting the physics right, because it's kind of damn near impossible to freeze electrons perfectly in place. That's like that is like some absolute fucking 0 degrees Kelvin type shit.
But this is Synnibarr, baby. Where we have 6 continents inside the Earth.
Oh yeah, we got
inside
Arimi,
Mars,
Barava, and a bunch of others.
Arimi is the home of the dragons. They're similar to drakes, but are smaller and less intelligent.
By the way, Arimi is literally just called the mountain continent. So what happened was Raven was sitting down going, okay, I need to figure out what the continents are going to be like. This is the mountain one. This is the jungle one. I'm taking a bit of the piss on this, but I'm having fun with it.
Well, because
this is the one where the black
next
people
one
live.
is no, that
well,
was
we found
the
out the Dark Continent is actually not called that because of that. It's actually called that because electricity just the moment you get there, like the moment you enter international shores, you exit international shores to continental waters, your electronics just stop working.
What did Raven mean by this?
I don't know, man.
But then there's Barava. This is the coastal.
Oh no! You don't understand. So Arimi has one of the highest, 72,000 feet. That is If you're wondering how tall
Cool.
that is, that's, I think, only about 10,000 feet shorter than Olympus Mons. What is Olympus Mons, you might ask? It's a Martian volcano 3 times taller than Mount Everest and 2.5 times taller than Mauna Kea, which is actually the largest mountain we have on Earth. Mauna Kea
But it,
being the island, being the Hawaiian volcano that is, I think, about 5,000 feet taller than Everest, if you ignore
but
the
that's
ocean.
under. Yeah, but that's underwater.
Yeah.
Forgive me if I'm tired, but the book said what happens if you want to go on the Martian surface?
Uh, all of the
Oh,
continents we
it's an
covered were the
atmosphere.
Martian surface. This is the Earth.
Yeah.
This is the Earth as seen by Aridius, who apparently also reworked the continents while we weren't paying attention. Or maybe the giant nuclear explosion. If you've ever played Universe Sandbox, maybe it just scorched the Earth and it just auto-generated new continents.
Let's see. We also have then in Barava, one mountain range which has been named called the Corsair Peaks. Here has where a battle has been warred between the Teniosans and the Halathians.
Who are those? I don't fucking know.
Off the let's see. When it was formed, great tunnels were carved by underground lava flows. The tunnels appear almost anywhere, and sometimes they travel the entire length of the continent.
So, this is actually a thing that can exist. Have you ever heard of lava tubes?
I think so.
So, lava tubes are what happens when, in volcanic areas particularly, lava will occasionally just, well, magma, it'd be magma since it's underground, not lava. If you're wondering, he should have said magma. That's the official scientific term. Lava is when it's on the surface. So magma, when it gathers into there, eventually it can. In most cases, it tends to harden into what you know as intrusive igneous rock. That's stuff like granite, diorite, and that sort of stuff. Those stuff with crystals. Sometimes it just doesn't, and it drains away, and it leaves a hollow area that it had. These areas tend to have a high amount of diamonds. Lava tubes tend to be the most interesting place to find minerals, particularly carbon minerals like diamond and other sort of things. Corundum, I believe, which is your rubies, emeralds, and sapphires are often found here too.
Yeah. On NDR, ignore the sea. The fish fucking it.
That is true. The sea is a dangerous place. Hey,
Let's
did you know
see.
that the first time? Did you want to know one of the funniest ways that our ocean that we had an extinction event? By the way,
What was it?
so have you ever heard of the Ordovician or what was it? I think it's the Ordovician extinction event.
I know of the Ordovician period, but not the extinction event.
It is actually due to the efforts of plants, if I recall.
I knew it.
Well, what happened was plant life grew on the continents, and when they died, they would deposit they basically suck up the carbon, and eventually it caused the oceans to just fucking die off from lack of oxygen.
You hear that, plants? That's why we're killing you now.
Because
Revenge.
yeah, because it also affected algae, if you were wondering.
Animalia Kingdom will win.
Or was it the
Fuck the
Devonian?
Plantea.
I might be confusing with the Devonian extinction event. I think Ordovician was due to the yeah, the Ordovician was actually due to like a series of rapid ice ages. That's the other one. But yeah, here's the
But
map of the center of the world.
yeah, let's see. Bavaria also has the priests of Bavaria, within living in an inland plateau 5,000 feet high.
That's a pretty respectable plateau. That's at least the Piedmont or the Appalachians.
But look, this is what Earth is now. Not even recognizable in the slightest.
Yeah, I have no context for what this is. Where's Antarctica?
Actually, it looks like an image that I'm too afraid to mention in public.
I
Why?
have no context for what you're thinking of. It kind of looks like the aftermath of a fried chicken accident.
Yeah, I'm particularly referencing a comment made in Fallout New Vegas when you're given the ink blot tests.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
like a vagina. Vagina. It looks like a cunt.
No, it looks like two bears high-fiving.
It looks like
Take
I don't know. It
drugs,
looks like
fight a
the
bear.
aftermath of a fried chicken accident to me. Like if you
It
fuck
looks
up
like
Also,
a
a
I don't know.
uterus.
Hold on.
Thanksgiving
I don't know
turkey.
why they're saying that these are separate continents when, like, Arimi is connected to whatever this spine is.
It's
Well,
called the Rosa Stripe. That might be a lake.
so I know how to explain this. So by this logic, would you count Europe as a continent?
You're right. Tech.
Also, look on the bottom left. It's just Utah. It's just Utah.
It is just Utah. They,
Oh,
it's
I, I,
Utah
I
written by
I
a
looked at. I thought it
dyslexic
was like.
person.
I thought it. Yeah, at first I thought just, but no. Well, actually, I think it's pronounced Utah, but Utah. Yeah.
Also, there's the entrance from Antarctica.
Also, Andrew's
You
right.
have the
Yeah, hell
power
this
of creation on your
and this
finger,
fine.
creating this whole world.
What now?
You, he's angry that
He
Adrena's
had to
kept
hit
Utah.
he had to hit the censor button.
Let's see the other
He's hollering.
continents.
He's hollering real deep if you're wondering.
The the Dorian.
Yeah,
It is
Ladorian.
experiment in isolation. Here, all the marsupials live, protected from predators, but some do exist.
Does Raven not know that the opossum is actually a species of marsupial? So I'd
Hold
have to
on,
call it opossums
wait, no,
because there's the
no,
little
no.
guys which are possums,
I,
and then
I don't give,
there's the big
Adam,
trash cats.
I don't give a shit what you're saying. I need to say this sentence out loud. Some of the prey, such as the kangaroos, have developed a system of defense using rocks and their own large numbers.
Yes. Yeah, kangaroos are
They're
intelligent. They're at least as smart as chimps now in this setting.
they're evolving.
Well, I mean, think about it like this. There's a race of intelligent raccoons, my guys, who have bazookas and shit.
The island is similar to Japan, although warmer. Seals live
It,
here, and a breed of reptiles descended from the Komodo dragon that is 20 feet long and jet black in color.
I'm gonna have
Okay.
to comment, but you two also
The
made
beast is
the
named
rocket.
after its
What?
hunting method, laser vision, hence their name, lasers.
What are you gonna say, Biggs?
I was about to say, did you make a rocket raccoon joke when
No,
you saw the rocket?
no, because it's just so on the nose. I made fun of how a lot of. Well, I didn't make fun. I was just. I kind of have to admire that he very much was inspired by the Claremont run of X-Men and a lot of '80s comic books when he was writing this.
Also, it does look like they then talk about more about the Halathians, and they seem to be crocodiles.
Okay, so crocodile. I'm okay with crocodile people.
No, no, this is people who each mountain is named to worship. Yeah, no, no, they're physically crocodiles, 16 feet in height,
So hey,
and they
Angel.
bear
So, hey,
they hold
Angel.
on.
If you
Yeah,
want to play a Macaulay in this setting, you could. We found the Macaulay. They're down. They're down from the Mars world ship.
they also have the males carry their young to term.
Well, all right then. I.
Kath,
That's
we have
interesting.
yeah, Kath, the desert continent. Its region is surrounded by dense jungles and forests, which are kept at bay by the mountains and giant
So this is
canyons.
Raven actually knowing. So okay, rain shadows in summary. What happens are mountains are really big, right? When you have a bunch of them that strung along in a thing, if you have a bunch of them strung along in one big line, well, if they're tall enough, weather has a habit. Winds and weather struggle to get over them. So what happens is they just give up and say fuck it and dump their rain right there, especially since it gets colder around there because higher altitudes. Not necessarily because when there's a weird thermal envelope involving the skies. You don't have to fucking know about that.
I
But
do like though how we're talking about this desert, and the only thing we've really pointed out is the jungles and the canyons.
well, that's because the desert kind of wait, the mountains almost completely encompass the continent, so it's not really deserts. It's more like badlands then. No, this isn't a desert. This is a badland. Although this could be a rocky desert. There's also the Sand Table, and then there's a canyon named after the river called the Life Giver. It is over 100 miles wide and 1 mile deep. That is not a canyon. That is a valley, my guy. That is like I think it's called. Oh, damn it! I don't remember the name of the huge fucking valley that's in California, but that's what that basically
Death
Death
is.
Valley,
Valley.
No, no, the really wide one.
Big Death Valley.
San Jacinto, I think. I think it might be the San Jacinto Valley. That might be what it is. Basically, if you look at a map of California, you notice how there's a big wide gap in between the mountains where it's like flat. That is one of the widest valleys that is on our planet. It's also where
Cool.
Fresno is,
So then we have, let's see, the Ring of Frost,
which is the
which is
spine.
Spud.
This is where Aridus put all the cold creatures.
Yep. And then Utah, which is the forest continent. The coastal regions are rocky and heavily forested with oak, cedar, alder, and pine. It rains up to 100 inches in the coastal forests.
Well, that's interesting because ever heard of the Pine Barrens?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean they get
I-
decent rain, but like the soil is extremely poor. So this is actually kind of interesting to me.
A wizard did it.
No,
And let's
like no
see.
Pine Barrens like that. Like there's entire areas of New Jersey that used to be like that.
Again, the man had the power of creation on his side.
My question
All he did
is,
So
was
why
just pick
doesn't he have
Utah.
sequoias or redwoods? Because if he has temperate rainforests, he should have. It should be closer to the cloud rainforests of Ecuador, or really more like California.
He didn't have the tree autism.
also, Jimmy. So kangaroos will inherit Australia while chimpanzees get Africa if humans go extinct.
What other species
What do
might
you mean?
inherit the other continents based on intelligence, huh? Well, actually, chimpanzees are a good candidate, but I would argue that bonobos would also work. Gray parrots actually is another competitor. In Australia, kangaroos I actually don't think would win that one. That would go to the parakeets and cockatiels and cockatoos actually. In
Let's
South
see.
America, the biggest candidate might be scarlet. I tend to think birds because as a whole they tend to be rather intelligent. Although you could actually surprise me by saying the wild pigs because pigs are disturbingly intelligent.
Let's see. The Devil's. Looking here at some of the other areas, the Devil's Punch Bowl is an ocean where the water doesn't freeze, but it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to kill a human in 5 minutes.
Interesting.
Is that true?
Well, yeah. So here's the interesting. You can die in water as cold as hot as 70 degrees. Technically, you probably will die once you're in water at 60 degrees because it's actually at about the mid 60s that your body starts to struggle in keeping itself warm because water is an excellent absorber of energy. Once you get under 60 degrees, the colder the water, the more likely you're going to enter shock, thermic shock.
Ah.
Which, if you're wondering, if you get thrown into something like the Devil's Punch Bowl, if you're really unlucky, you'll involuntarily gasp because it's so fucking cold that your body can't help but demand more lung capacity.
Also, Angel, is this salt water? I
It's an
don't
ocean.
know.
They don't
I
clarify if
mean,
it's salt or freshwater, but I assume it's an ocean.
we do get the Breakerill Deep, which is an ocean home to the pirate race of the Tenhosen, pirates that do have gills and train a special breed of whales that have a larger blowhole along with a reserve for extra air.
Okay.
These guys fight. These guys ride whales.
Whale pirates? I'm definitely okay with that.
Yeah.
They can also somehow defy the fluid mechanics of water to be able to swim to 100 miles per hour.
Also, so I guess next up though we have is the economy and society.
We kind of need to know
So,
what those are.
yep, during the last 500 years of the Dark Age, civilization on the world ship has encountered primarily one type of resistance in terms of monsters.
Well, yeah, it's a
They don't
post-apocalyptic
just
society. Funnily
have
enough, Greyhawk in first edition Dungeons and Dragons and the early stuff, kind of the same atmosphere where it's like just a couple thousand years after some horrifying apocalypse.
Villages compensated by moving underground or staying in large cities. Some small outposts have developed or paid for extra defense. For this reason, the economy of society varies drastically. Along with alchemists holding technology, things are not likely to improve. Any young child showing great intelligence is snatched up and brainwashed into the by the guild and brainwashed into accepting its members' beliefs. Only lately have children returned to their homes and started implementing what they have learned. But they are always careful not to let guild-sanctioned knowledge slip into the undoctrinated hands. The average technology is very low due to the bimbo plague.
Correct. I mean, if
Uh,
most of your population gained Valley Girl level intelligence, you're not going to be able to build much. Also,
Farming is
again, this is why you should total alchemist death, because they're basically the Brotherhood of Steel. And fuck those
even worse.
guys.
And here's where we get the city levels and their various ratings. So we have, for instance, the crime rating. And crime in this case, chance of thefts, muggings, rapes, and other forms of crime.
I kind of like that. I
One
love.
of these is not like the other.
Correct. Also, there's technology levels, defense factors. So if you're
Art
wondering,
levels.
he also explains what the tech levels are. Tech level 1s are basically caveman cities. Tech level 2s are low-level mechanical machines, so pre-industrial. Tech level 3 has electronics, so about where modern day, and 4 is the super science. There's also art level, which is their ability to use magic, just to give some insight, which works on the same level.
So we have, for instance, the Emerald Downs,
So
art highly magical, tech level 3, while we have, for instance, the uh,
this is a utopia. It has almost no crime. The tech level is actually high enough to explain why it is capable of having this population because they have access to electronic technology, meaning they have enough advanced systems that they can definitely run agriculture and get basically their supplies. And last but not least, they got magic. They don't have to worry about shit.
uh, Dorvendor has a crime factor of 6, meaning 25% chance of getting robbed, mugged, or raped.
I think we accidentally found the city that is the Detroit equivalent.
It deals in death. They're surrounded by blood mages, and the guild teaches the darkest magic to any who wish to learn.
Well, it's also
Uh,
on the center of the world, so it's kind of a shithole. It's run by a
then we do
hierarchy of mages. Yep.
then we do get though a forbidden city with, despite it being forbidden and run by a secretive emperor, it
Um,
probably, I think it has
Hmm?
the largest population.
It does.
I,
10
I, I
million.
hate to drag everybody's attention back, but going back to the city thing, I don't know if you mentioned it, but on crime factors, it says what the crime frequencies are. So if
Yeah,
you have rating level 4, there's a 13% chance rape.
Yeah.
That
for,
just means the GM could just roll a D100, and if it rolls 14, he can just say your character gets raped in the ass.
Correct. So what could happen is, let's say we go to the Forbidden City. You're somehow able to get there. You're able to work with the not Chinaman, and I'm
there's
like,
a
I'm gonna roll a D100. Well, I'm sorry, Biggs. Your Drake is getting ruined. His cloaca ruined by a fucking gang of enterprising Chinese eunuchs.
yep. Um, it's here one can build a starship.
That's why
Imperial
it's the
guards carry
Forbidden City.
yep, special rifles, wear power armor, shielded by pure redstone granite.
Okay,
Did Minecraft steal from this?
it might have. Also, actually, if you're wondering, granite has a variety of colors. There is a rare variety of it that is red tinted because it has extra iron in it.
We also go into now the fees to get an ID and the impounding fee, which I do love is just this magical, fantastical world, and then it's bureaucracy.
You have it also has DNA fingerprint codes. So this is the Forbidden City is he is inspired by Shadowrun or Cyberpunk here because you have to have essentially an SIN. You have to have a SIN identity to
Yeah.
actually do anything here.
It
But once
also
you're in,
it also
you could do whatever horrible crimes you want. Yeah, you might have gotten got there by your Drake bigs, but you can also get revenge because this is a place where anything goes.
it also exports its technology, being now within a cold war with the Terra alchemists. You are not allowed to go past 100th level for reasons of sanitation, of course.
So just go ahead and make I spit on your grave, but a gonzo ass fucking city with
It's also
dragons and
incredibly libertarian in that any property left unattended for 10 days is open to salvage, and private property law, he who owns the land makes the rules. The rules must not affect anything outside the property borders. No person, place, or thing may enter into the private property without the owner's permission.
I was actually going to
Wait,
hope that they had a Georgia stance where you keep the land as long as you can hold it by force.
I realize that no, it's an anarcho-capitalist Chinese uh, tech city.
It's Singapore, yeah. It's Singapore run by a Chinese emperor. That's fine.
Let's
There's
see.
Gateway, which is a little podunk piece of shit.
Gateway,
Hell's
Hydra
Gate.
Home.
Hell's Gate, crime factor 6, tech level 2, art level 4. 100,000, by the way. So tech level 2 is essentially at your medieval sword and sorcery level, if you're curious. 100,000 is within populations you can pull off because Constantinople, Tenochtitlan, Teotihuacan, and I think even Cahokia had similar populations at their peaks.
But then finally, we do have the main city, the one that probably the player characters are on, Terra, which is crime free
It is the size
because
of Seattle, Washington.
it's fucking Seattle, isn't it?
It has a set of 3 diamond bubbles, and it's underneath the waters of Lake Diamond Blood. It is the main hub for adventurers, so this is where you usually start. And as a result, well, look at how much effort he wrote for this one.
Yeah, the port. Talk about the port of Terra, satellite. It's run by an elected mayor.
By the way, it literally has the unique qualifier crime free, which I probably would have just said it had a crime factor of 1.
We finally get though a description on what the werestorm could be. Hazardous 15
That
miles
would
of
be
storm can be
useful.
crossed if the mode of transport can be attained at sufficient speed. Venture flies that must be up to 1,000 miles per hour. Oh, so it's just a giant fucking storm.
Yeah, okay, so that's what a werestorm is. Understood. So if
And
you're
it is
using a vehicle, it takes at least 700 miles per hour to bust the winds. If it's an adventure, you need to be able to somehow crack the. So basically, you need to be able to move at Mach speed to be able to puncture these storms. So so to give you an idea on how fucking ridiculous the windstorms are on this planet, so the fastest winds that we have actually recorded have come from Category F5 tornadoes, and I believe they clocked in at, what was it, 225 miles per hour? I think that's the fastest. I might be wrong.
yeah. Although
Basically, these are wind speeds that we usually find on planets like Neptune and Jupiter.
it's gonzo, Adam.
No, I'm just
yeah.
highlighting the
Also
insanity.
Andy, uh, there is a law. In fact, there's 127 guys for the Terran police possessing a precognitive device called the God Visor. It allows them to see any crime well in advance. When
Okay,
it
so this is proving to me that Raven had some of the shittiest playtesters humanly possible, and
yeah.
rather than just suck it up, Buttercup, and play around with it or just kick them out, he basically made it so that you were punished for playing your character archetype.
They also have a set of handcuffs, a wristwatch
Look,
communicator,
I'm
a
not
null
saying that
gun,
I'm not being like pro
and a
thief on
Lamborghini.
purpose, but keep in mind one of the main
Yeah.
archetypes for any adventurer is a thief, or in this case a ninja. You're really fucking gonna tell me that you can't even apply your trade just to keep in practice in the main city where the fucking guild is?
Also, so the laws of terror are no killing or harming anyone or anything, except for sanctioned assassins and duels, and no
Of
theft of any
course.
kind. Now, since crimes can be viewed up to 1 month in advance, the criminals will be apprehended the instant they begin to perpetrate the offense.
Which is
They then,
just horseshit. This
oh
is
wait,
this is
once
another case
caught,
of the GM
yeah,
being a piss baby who doesn't want
yeah,
his stuff to get derailed. I hate
once
this kind of
caught,
mindset, by the way.
yeah, once caught, the police uses a verdant Nalbrog total honesty spell and induces the criminal to confess.
Congratulations, this is actually a common thing that a D&D player worth a shit would think of. Zone of truth, motherfucker. But, I mean, at least he thought that through. I'm gonna be blunt, I really hate this kind of take.
Also, punishments. Death and the necromancer's call and leash. The criminal soul is called up and given the power of telekinesis to perform menial tasks. Death and deathlock. Voluntary organ donation and community service. Mind wipe and aura
And these guys
change.
are supposed to be ethical? Okay, I believe you.
And power strip.
Er,
Permanently removes all ability of the victim to ever wield power again.
What
I'm going with the Chinese wizards.
what fucking war crimes did your goddamn playtesters do, Raven?
okay, are we not focusing on the fact that fucking Orphan Harkessing is right next to community service?
No, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Joke, right?
I'm surprised you're not reacting more to, yeah, they executed you. They publicly executed you and then summoned your ghost from hell to just specifically force you to do the community service too.
And they will know that you will commit the crime up to 1 month in advance.
Because ignore that the future
And
is
since
mutable.
since it's precognition, that means no. That never go to the city.
Yeah. In
Because
fairness, NDR, so
they
NDR is commenting, I don't get why this shit got into the book yet. Shit, playtesters, move the fuck on. This is just a hypothesis. This is Adam's hypothesis for why this is here. It could just be that Raven is a control freak and really hates when people shit on his settings. At least the settings that are kind of his baby. I just think that it's funnier to think that this was an anti Munchkin fucking measure.
I just imagine the guards are like, see you in a month.
No, no, no,
As soon as
no,
you
no.
enter.
No, no. I just love the idea that one of the guardsmen, he just kind of, he's sharpening his axe and says, cutting your head off in 3 weeks, buddy. See ya." By the
He
way,
just knows.
don't worry. I'll meet you again the day after when they res you up, so that I can point you out where you need to do your cleaning duties. By the way,
Oh yeah, by the way,
Can I have your
assassination.
left lung? Can I have your left lung?
Oh, by the way, assassinations are a thing, but
Yeah.
you can't do them in the city. You can't do them on a ship, and you got to register with the council. The council? I don't know.
The forms of Canley will be obeyed.
What does that even mean?
It's from Dune.
Oh, okay.
They're like, the legal methods for fighting somebody.
I don't remember like the specifics of that though, so that's why I was going, what? I know Dune just because of the way they had personal shields work made it so that that's why swords exist again.
Hmm. I see further though. There's a few other places they bring up some organizations and occupations, as well as various sort of buildings
No, no,
of
I love how he gave up. Like he was running out of room and he's like, "Oh shit, I have more cities I want to write." Cyber Rock, Stones. The last
us.
four
Yeah,
just he didn't even try.
yeah. I do like though mapping out the entire city of Terra, including who runs these places when they're open, and a description of the person in charge.
So the city map of Terra is pretty fun. The Terran shops are great, but there's also all of these organizations, which includes a real video game company, BioWare.
Oh my god!
Yeah, BioWare.
Except now they're a biological research lab.
Yeah. Applicants must be licensed engineers and skilled physicians. All applicants must apply in person between the hours of 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Offices are located just outside of the Omniport.
I mean, BioWare was created by a cadre of nerds. Do you think they were real big Cinnabar fans? And
Might have been. I like how one of the companies is literally called Engineering Limit Ltd.
There's another one on the next page. International Rescue, which the company will contact the appropriate adventurers and assist in their rescue. For more information, call 777-555-9999. Again, that is 777-555-9999.
Okay,
I'm sure should send
I know
resumes
where
to the
this
main
came
office
from.
located in Terra.
This was him borrowing from Dockwagon. That's literally Dockwagon. That's literally the
Also,
concept of Dockwagon.
Terran Police is their emergency number is 999. So, guess this was Japan.
Maybe that's the number that just survived. Real Dream Incorporated. We publish anything from books to comics to magazines to games, including virtual reality environments in the form of a multi-cat. You can literally just have your characters zone out and watch whatever garbage you want.
And then
It just
over
transfers into a GURPS game.
giant ships. Then we go into the world. There's just so much.
Yeah, like here's
What I
the
think,
guild masters, what they
what I think
do.
we should do, just to finish up, is explore that wonderful, vast monsters table that is over 100 pages.
Oh, I thought you wanted to show the monster man. Oh, you're gonna. That's gonna be next time. We're gonna show you the monsters. Well, maybe not next time. We'll figure out what we'll do next time. But let's show off the amazing tables that are all the way down here somewhere. That's the psychic plane. Which, yeah, there's an entire chapter on the psychic plane. Here we go. Here's all the tables. Random encounters. These are the following tables for the random generation of encounters. And he made encounter tables for land, air, and sea. And he does not clarify. ICC refers to the intelligent creatures or characters table, and CTW refers to the center of the world table. So, for example, air counters in the water column means that a monster from the air could be encountered on the water surface. And here's some of the things you can run into. The giant Arctic owl, the knoll snake, the mutant mole, phase grass, thermal drakes, the electric eagle. I just want to show you how many fucking pages this is.
The table: giant armored bee, pterodactyl, Tuk's phased plague beast,
Yeah, there's a
bat
lot.
Batman.
The Batman. Yeah, you can fight
No,
Batman.
no, no, not the Batman. I don't know if it's literally Batman, as in Batman just shows up out of nowhere.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Just spawns in and kicks your ass.
By the way, there's also the mutant Manowar.
There's a mutant baboon as well, and the black muta manta.
Black Mutant Manta. That sounds like something Aquaman would fight. The Sonic Shepherd. Also, one of the tables is for outer space. You can fight stuff in outer space. Here's the table for
as
that.
well as which type of drake you will encounter. Is it Argium, Chameleon, Small Elemental, Fur, Granite, Parma, River, Midnight Sunstone, Mist, Moon, Para, Phase, Plasma, Scarlet, Sea, Sonic, Space, Spider, Storm, Small Storm, Sun, Sunstone,
Storm and Small
Thermal,
Storm.
Small Thermal, or Titanium.
He was running out of ideas for Drake types.
No.
I mean, he
He
has
was being
Small Storm and Small Thermal. Oh, and Small Elemental. He was running out of ideas.
like, I'm looking at some of the monsters that we get here.
Let's go through the monster manual. Yeah, there's some pretty fun
I
ones.
just ape, mutant ape, snow ape, thunder ape.
Well, you don't want to show the nuclear skeleton right here, which, if you're wondering, is
I don't even know what that is. Is
that
the
is an Elentian. Encounter type, lesser to major, numbering appearing, 1 to 4, life points, 1,000 to 6,000. So if you're wondering what life points are, it does not work like Yu-Gi-Oh, unfortunately. So put away your card deck, Biggs. You can't
Jeez.
destroy its life points. You can't win that way. Well, you can, but not like that.
I'm not the Yu-Gi-Oh player here. I play Gundam the card game just because I love the settings so
So,
The way
much.
so
you're
if you're
gun.
trying to figure out how the life point system works, a rough rule of thumb, if you want to refluff these into new monsters, divide it by about 100, and then just kind of convert it to what you think is the most fitting dice. Since these things are basically giant nuclear skeletons, I'd probably use the undead D12 die. Their auras tend to be neutral to pure fucking evil. Their ego score, which is their willpower and intelligence, is anywhere between 30 to 55. They can attack 5 times a turn, which is pretty fucking ridiculous. They have, I don't remember what the advantages mean, but basically they can attack like 5 times.
And we get their surprise tables.
Yep.
A, B, C. I guess that's just when they're encountered.
They have a constitution of 20.
Yeah.
So these creatures consist of psionic energy and resemble a humanoid skeleton from 5 to 7 feet tall. They are pure practitioners of the art in psionics. They have 300 SMUs, which I've already forgotten what that means.
I don't even think we know what it is.
It probably was in the there is an entire chapter on psionics. It's probably in there. And they're able to engineer first level psi spells. The only thing that impedes them is the center of the world's effect on powers. They have 1,000 psi points and an additional reserve of 100. That is the substance of their bodies. Once they go, they will die, which can result in one of the funniest things ever, where they can cast from HP to kill you. I
But
like these
I want to
things.
bring up that there is the golden apple.
That is an
It
actual
it is
monster.
yes, it is though a tree. Draws the victim. They will eat one of the apples. Let's see. The apples have one benefit. Their tree roots draw gold from the soil. These they will nullify the victim's powers for 48 hours because they absorb caprium radiation.
So basically, this is another. What the? This guy is obsessed with taking away your abilities. I fucking hate that. Raven, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing this?
I mean, I realize because the powers are literally the most bullshit thing in the setting.
Yeah, but by
But
extension, the monsters also have similar bullshit powers.
and yeah, that's the problem.
I think this is just. I think he's not quite as bad as the Amber. So there's I forget the name of the sci-fi series. It's called Amber, not sci-fi. It's like a fantasy series called
Amber.
Amber. It is a big series. I've never personally read it, where a dude
I mean,
basically don't
the
rest your
trick
head his way into becoming a godling.
yeah the trick was that it was diceless.
It was
So
diceless,
whatever
but
point
the guy who came up with it, who made pretty good work up until this book, not Cinnabar, Amber. For whatever reason, he really fucking hated his players and is just the biggest asshole DM, and not in a good way. It's not in the way where you shoot to kill them, but you're all trying to have fun. No, he wanted to ruin them, especially if they pretended to be good guys.
It's good to have contempt for your fan base. Just look at George R. R. Martin. That's working out well for him.
I mean,
yeah.
it is. Think about all the options he's gotten through HBO and other systems.
So
I mean, think
we also
about it
have
like this. They're canceling the Ultimate Spider-Man run where he's married to Mary Jane again because it kept outselling the actual run. It was outselling it consistently. That's why they canceled it.
Wait, which page are we at? I'm confused. I got lost, man. This fuck must stand.
361 because
Yeah,
we now
we
bring up
skipped like
the
200 pages. Don't
yeah
worry. It's not your
we now
fault.
bring up the mutant baboon
Yeah, there's a lot of cool monsters in here.
and the psionic baboon
Well, you
as
don't
well
want to
as
have... Armadillo is an actual encounter, by the way. Armadidians. They're sentient armadillos that can move up to light speed, apparently. Yes, they could... Oh, God, they can actually warp. They could go warp factor 10.
I don't think those are because they say that they are
They appear to be
hairless
armadillo
body.
things. Yeah.
Are they? Do they have
Oh, no,
rules
no.
for charging?
Armapines. This is another
Fine.
alien. Sorry.
However, they are 4 feet long armadillos.
Aw. Oh no.
Still
Do
is
they
impressive.
give you leprosy?
No, but their meat is one of the most sought after. When dried and eaten with bread, no food need to be consumed for up to 3 days.
Oh no, they do give you leprosy. They have poison quills.
Ah,
If you're wondering, yes, armadillos are well known to give you leprosy. For whatever reason, leprosy, the bacteria grows very well into them. I think it's like the 3-band ones particularly.
but now we finally
Psychic
have
baboons.
what Batman looks like, and he looks like a furry
Oh, that's not Batman. That's Man Bat.
with
That's just Man Bat.
diagonally protruding nipples.
Na 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 na
The
Man
giant,
Bat.
hold on, wait, the giant panda bear.
Well, before
They
we
have
talk about the
psionics.
giant panda bear, NDR's asking, what type of crack is Marvel and the writers of the book smoking? It's not that they write crack, it's that they actually fucking hate the audience, think they're actually fucking stupid for liking Spider-Man being happy, or in this case, having a marriage and having to work his ways around being a husband and father.
Listen, listen. Was in Steve Ditko's contract that listen, Spider-Man has to be a teenage loser for his life.
No, but this
Otherwise,
is what the people who
Maya
write
Say
him are
get the
stuck on.
rights.
They still seethe about the days they were thrown into lockers, and by that them fantasizing about being thrown into the lockers because
I
there's
will
no way.
say, trying to advance Pete's story, that gets us the Future Foundation or whatever the fuck it is when Peter has his own corporation.
Well,
Neat, but
reminder that Dan Slott, one of the guys who wrote the
against
classic
Slut.
line of Spider-Man, specifically made Doctor Octopus look exactly like himself, had him possess Peter, get with a bunch of women. Oh, and also it's hinted that Octavius tested Peter's equipment literally with his own hand.
He fucked a midget at him.
Dan Slott is one of the people of all time.
Also, I'm just noticing this now, but I'm noticing on the bat encounter table for number of appearances, if you roll a 99, million bats appear out to attack you.
Oh yeah, Batman can summon bats to destroy you. It's pretty great.
Literally, what bats? If the GM rolls for it, he can says, you 1 million bats.
Come on, don't you want to
1
fight
million bats.
10,000 to 1 million bats? You actually have to roll this, by the way.
Hold on. Some other things. I'm just scrolling down here. Um,
The sea bear.
so what do we need is wear a sombrero.
These fucking bats will go 100 miles per hour.
Yes, they can swim that
We go
fast.
100. Giant mutant fire clam.
What?
Well, before we look through that, here's the Bogladytes. These creatures resemble humans, but with much wider bodies, so they're fat. Brown skin, steel gray eyes, and 4 fingers. They are great intellects, apparently, the Bogladytes. And they know how to fly submarines. Mutant hatchet buzzards.
I think it's safe to say this is probably one of the most schizophrenic monster handbook we've ever seen.
Razor clams, which, by the way, razor clams are a real species of clam. These are the fantasy versions where their shells are razor sharp, and they will scissor bite you. The giant mutant fire clam. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. And at 1 million separate initiative rolls.
Yeah, you need to do 1 million bat rolls.
That might just leave the table.
We can't stop here. This is This is Batman country.
Yeah. Also, what the fuck is... That's another furry! What the hell is that?
Well, I mean, do keep in mind the name... Do keep in mind the name of the writer was named Raven, so I think that should give you some indication.
The Colosse's fur has the ability to reflect and amplify Verdant Nalbarog, which I believe was what the most powerful power.
Verdant Nalbarog is it's the original language. It's the primordial magic. Yes.
Their fur.
Maximum running speed.
Can do that.
Yes.
They can Tesseract 6 times a day, and they have the major mutation any.
They're kind of bullshit. Yes.
I think we found one of the playtesters' races.
Crab people.
By the way, reminder, all of these monsters that we're reading, like if they have some bullshit stats, Reminder that because Raven is a controlling asshole and/or he had the worst players ever, they keep all of their powers.
Frocopedes.
Yep.
Frocopedes are centipedes with the head of a crocodile and bat-like wings. They grow to be
Why
10
not?
feet long and weigh 100 to 300 pounds. Their 4 eyes are at the end of stalks, and they are completely at home in water. That is a terrifying image.
Okay, so this is why I really wanted to show the monster manual to you guys. There are some bangers in here like this.
Flying deer.
Yes, deer with wings.
And both male and females grow antlers.
Look at them. Look at the flying deer. They have little pelican. They have like pelican wings. Aw.
Death porters. They appear to be a giant metal spider on land. On water, killer whales. On flight, giant metal eagles.
Oh, we're about to see the tree demons and the cave demons. Remember that war that confused you earlier, Biggs? Well,
Yeah.
we're about to learn what they're like.
So, they are not true demons. They resemble the cave ones, resemble a human covered in thick gray fur, and they can adhere themselves to any surface. They have the mass mutation Stone Eyes, and they can manipulate stone by way of specialized telekinesis, digging a 15-foot wide, 20-foot deep hole in one attack, and they can manipulate stone like a tentacle. The tree demons, though, are actual. Actually, no, they're not.
They're
No,
not.
they're humanoids with large ears and eyes and dark red fur. They can
So it's
fire
just
a
very
beam of mutation from their eyes 3 times a day, which helps against the cave demons because the cave demons receive double damage from any light attacks such as laser beams or the spell's sphere of blindness.
You mean to tell me it's just various factions of Ewoks fighting one another?
Giant Ewoks, yes. Also, keep in mind that it's a mutation beam, so it's not a beam of light. It's a beam of cancer. They eject beams of cancer from their eyes.
To kill the people who can harness rocks like liquid.
Also, here's the Sand Devils. They are 1,000-pound marsupials that walk upright and resemble humans. They are built to survive.
And
They have no eyes, only short horns and bony plates for faces. Their skin is like sandpaper. They have a permanent cloak of mist on their skin and can go invisible randomly.
let's see, we have now the many dragons. Black dragons,
Well,
blood
you don't want
dragon.
to have the killer dolphin.
No,
It's
no, I was just about to
giant
say
dolphin.
too. The regular dolphin too. Yeah, so like it's like what you would expect from a regular's monster manual on a dolphin.
Yeah.
Specifically says a dolphin. Well, they can travel on land and wield weapons.
Yes,
Yes,
they can.
they can. Riffs. The fuck? Did you steal this as well?
They can transmute into half-human creatures. Yeah, you didn't know? Normal dolphins
Yeah.
can do this. By the way, there's also killer dolphins, which have the ability to teleport behind you or starport. Which means I think they can teleport into space.
Oh no.
But then we have all the dragons. Black, blood, emerald, glass, ice, sea, the giant dragonfly.
How the fuck is black the only color they care about?
We have all of the drakes.
I'm trying to think. So black dragons are usually friendly. Do they have the poison breath? I'm just curious. They might have a breath weapon of some sort that's like that.
Oh.
They don't really. Oh, they do have a beam attack of some sort.
Yeah.
Don't really clarify though.
They're saying black dragons are usually friendly. As with any creature, there is an occasional bad egg.
Which is funny because in Dungeons and Dragons, black dragons are, I think, one of the most malicious of the colored dragons.
I also do like how
besides red,
dragons,
red can be pretty cuntish.
Yeah, 2 of them appear to be a metal. One is ice. One is blood. Oh, these all are. He's just naming them off the color of their skin.
Well, I mean that's what the dragons were in D&D as well. They were called by color or metallic, and there's also other types. Did you know that there is? Oh man, I forget. There's metallic, and then I think there's like, oh fuck, are they called iridescent or there's crystal dragons? There's a lot more dragons than you think. Let's just say that, and
But then we have
including one of the
things.
few that were immune to force spells. If you ever wanted a monster that could actually shrug off magic missile, well, I mean, if you're doing that to them, what did they do to make you angry at them like that? Stick a force dragon on them.
But then there's the drake, such as the Karma Drake, which can grant someone's desire with a psionic wish 2 times per day, and they are immune to mental control of any kind.
By the way, thank you, Squirrel Killer. It was gem dragons. That was what I was thinking of. Basically, chromatic tend to be evil, metallics tend to be good, not necessarily, and then gems tended to be neutral. There
The
were a few other
space
odd duckies, but yeah, black dragons are among the worst. White
Hold on,
dragons were the most primal.
the space drake carries a organic pelum covering their bodies, protecting them from the rigors of space travel.
Yes, there
They
are
can fly
space.
in space
You can fight in space, and this is what they
and
can do.
have a telepathic range of 1 light year.
Yeah, they can communicate with people from beyond the Oort cloud if they wish to. They can't quite communicate to the nearest star system unless, actually, it depends because there are some pretty close star systems.
You got elephants. What's the crazy thing elephants can do? Oh, they can cast psionic powers and can speak with the god of the animals, Steel Breeze.
Oh, you didn't know? Elephants never forget, so they actually are the perfect snitches for the magic god.
Yeah, they offer assistance whenever possible. We get the
Oh,
flying
what
elk.
the hell is this thing? Oh,
That is a
that's a
Dreldumsea.
yeah. Look at this thing.
It's even got nipples.
Honestly, if I saw that damn thing in my living room, I'd stop on it until there was a brown stain.
It looks like actually, it looks like a failed Disney mascot. This
Uh,
looks like something they'd have tried to shove into a Disney Star Wars product or Predator Badlands.
the green fly. They're 5 inches long. Take a bite out of anything alive. After 4 bites, itching becomes tremendous, and victims cannot concentrate enough to use their powers. 80% of the time, a slime reaper will be nearby to eat the hapless, scratching victims.
Also, if you're wondering, there's also the flymen. Flymen are small, standing only 12 inches tall and resembling tiny humans with the wings of a fly. They're mischievous and they love to steal treasure and food.
Oh, then the TT fly cuts through
The titty
invulnerability in
fly.
tenths. It injects an anticoagulant, is scrambling the victim's DNA code, causing a 20% chance of of change in mutations or random psionics.
So these things literally just inject you with liquid fucking T virus. That's amazing.
Behold, the ultimate life form.
Just turns into a
A
blob of screaming tumors.
giant gorilla
Gnolls, which
worshipping
hey,
the
I'm
eternal
surprised they
sun.
were able to get away with using gnolls.
The giant flying grizzly.
There they are.
This is
10 to
classic.
15 feet in length, 2,500 to 6,500 pounds, feed on any form of meat or fish, I-beams fired 10 times a day, and take 1 attack to use.
Yup.
They are a very intelligent species, and they are encountered everywhere.
He's not joking, by the way. The encounter tables, I think there's only a couple of tables where you cannot run into them. Yeah, Angel, you could get bit by a fly or gain superpowers, or you could just turn into a slop monster. That can happen too, depending on what mutations you get.
Let's see. Then they give us the various hydras.
Oh, no. There's the giant sunstone grizzly, which is 150. It's a fucking kaiju. It's a literal kaiju bear.
Dun 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 dun. Just imagine the Godzilla music, and then you see a giant grizzly bear with rings.
With psychic powers. Because
Also,
keep that in mind.
average Oregon critter.
Yeah.
That might be.
Well, I mean, we're missing the very endangered land octopus. It's known as the
Well, hold on.
Cascades octopus.
We're not at the O's yet. Giant jellyfish.
This is the crocodile people who Mr. Seahorse themselves.
The laser.
Wow, snow hares are pretty damn heavy. I didn't. These ones are way heavier than actual snow hares. They can weigh up to 60
Psionic.
pounds.
Oh wait, no. Here's the guys. The giant mutant thunder lizard.
Flying seahorses. Oh, that they can use mage warrior spells too. Aw. Here's all the hydras. Look at all these hydras.
The Lord's Guard. They are creatures of the gods, but they do have an opposite. The Dark Lords. Oh, remember the Dark Lords from the beginning?
Yeah, vaguely.
No.
The god Coriel formed the Lord's Guard to take on the Dark Lords.
You're a
They
little bit
literally
ahead of us. There we go. Lord's
Yeah.
Guard. 400.
Sense auras, possession by touch, Tesseract, under feet 16 or 6 times a day.
Don't you love that 75 resistance? He really fucking hated wizards, I think, during his playtesting. In fairness, he also crippled because you can do some silly bull. In fairness, I can kind of understand what he's doing, why he's doing it, because so to slightly reference the World of Darkness, there are some absolutely insane bullshits you can do if you play Changeling, the Dreaming. In particular, if you have an asshole of a rules lawyer. So I forget which one of the types of Fae that can do this, but the way they interact with reality, there is what's called the actor role, and then there's what's called the props. And here's something you can do if your storyteller's an idiot. You ever have trouble with like a powerful hunter or a vampire? Well, I mean, you could psychically lift them with the power of your fairy bullshit and kill them, but that's pretty hard. It takes effort, and there's something that's a lot easier to do. Lift the sidewalk up by like 1,000 feet and then just drop them to their death screaming. And just keep doing that repeatedly.
Let's see.
I know that if you want to, you can min-max trolls to potentially get up to 100 dots of health.
Giant mutated desert mosquito.
Are you aware of what 100 dots of health is like in the World of Darkness, my guy?
Oh, a lot. I'm going through this, and the
Fair
words
enough.
giant mutated desert mosquito.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go there.
Page 410.
Well, you didn't want to look at the. Oh, I found the lots, which that's like some Warcraft fetish stuff, I guess. Mutant man-o-wars. They weigh 1 to 3 tons and have 100 tentacles that grow to be 500 feet long. The mutated man-o-war can exist to an hour out of water and can levitate. They have the ability to create illusions. That's fantastic.
So the mutant mosquitoes have a 6-inch wingspan and weigh 2 to 6 ounces. They release a red gas that causes sleep for 5 minutes, will then sting the sleeper, draining them of 1 pint of blood, lowering the victim's constitution score by 20% for 2 days.
They release a red gas that can cause sleep for 5 minutes. Oh wow.
That's
pretty nasty. Saishine mushrooms. This is actually important if you're going to be a Shadow Lord. Saishine mushrooms grow around the warm, moist ground of sunstone creatures' fresh dung. They're 8 inches tall, weigh to 1 to 4 pounds, and require a year to grow to potency. The outer covering is hard and golden in color, similar to sunstone, and gives excellent protection from the elements. So let's get into why it's funny. If a normal person eats one of them, they will receive the psionic ability telekinesis, telepathy, and clairvoyance, along with 100 psychic points. This lasts for only an hour, and if someone is foolish enough to eat a second one in the same day, they will go insane for 24 hours. Only Shadow Masters or people with psionic abilities can eat this mushroom without harm. A fully grown Saishine mushroom costs about $100. But the reason I want to talk about this is, remember, they make a magical potion that can permanently make you crash out and go crazy. The potion Psisha requires 1,000 mushrooms to make a gallon. And it can only be drunk by a Shadow Master or someone with psionic abilities. Otherwise, it causes permanent insanity, which is healable, thankfully, but still. And it will give you, and if you get the maximum version of it, it gives you 100 psionic points for just a drop. 1 teaspoon wields 1,000. This liquid is worth 1 billion per pint. Sorry, I like the shadow. I like the shadow cabal. I just wanted to.
Then we have the Neurobendix, which are an alien species that are the most technologically advanced in the universe. They travel without the Zapathians' assistance in organic electronic starships, capable of speeds in excess of Tar Warp 10.
If you're curious on what the warp factors are, that would be in the Starship building chapter that we had to skip. There's a
Of
lot
this
of shit in this
fantasy
book.
game. Oh, and then here's the Nigel. It is a serpent with smooth black skin and a white underbelly.
Yep. They grow 40 feet long and weigh up to a ton.
Oh,
The
here we go.
giant
Octopus.
mutant octopus, and then there's the mutant octopus.
Then there is the white octopus, which has psi abilities.
There's also
They
blood
can walk on.
oranges.
Wait. They can walk on land for up to 5,000 yards without pausing to rest. This,
Yeah, I
based on
mean they
that
can.
wording, they can. Yeah, they can walk on land.
Not they can't stay away from the water too often though.
Yeah. Giant sea otter.
By the way, mutant octopi are always evil.
The
So are white
poltergeist and
octopi.
the poltergeist and the technogeists. These are ghosts of characters who did not have a god when they died. So this is where all the atheists end up.
Yeah, this is what happens.
The technogeists are those who die while using some form of tech item.
And let's see. They're basically the same spirit. It's just
Talking
it depends on if you
talking
have magic
raccoon.
or technology. Yep, talking raccoons. I told you this was a thing. Here he is. Here's Rocket Raccoon with his little bazooka. Told you you'd run into him.
Then we have the Ravisham, which are humans of mixed races.
They're known as
Raven,
blood mages as well.
what are you trying to say about miscegenation?
I don't know. I just know that
I'm
he
pretty
did this.
I'm pretty sure he actually I don't know.
He doesn't care.
I don't know.
Oh no. Oh no, the Saisheen has affected Biggs. He's actually crashed out. Ah, the sleep spell successfully worked. And here's all the abilities that these guys get, by the way, because this is all for whatever reason he had to include blood magic. He had to include these blood mage rituals. Why? Fuck if I know. This is supposed to be a monster manual, and this is just right here.
I guess yeah, because they can make spells. Let's see. A rock rhinoceros.
They're basically made out of stone. They have a mutation. They project a mutation field around its horn.
The red rose, which is a plant that will kill people once they are within 20 feet of them.
Fair enough. There's also the white rose, which is do they actually describe? Oh, it doesn't have an
Yes,
alignment. Does
it
not
does
have an
damage
aura.
to people still. Giant salmon, Sasquatch, scarlet insectivoids,
Scarlet insectivoids
titanium.
can be found in the womb.
Oh, here we go. Wait, what? Oh, I thought you meant like. Are we getting some weird fetish shit here?
No, remember that's
Yeah.
the star drive. So they propagate their race by leaving an egg in creatures with their phase tail. It is mutation based and they can lay 1 egg per day. It takes over the host and psionically manipulate them within 24 hours. So, okay. Do you want to know why I'm going to make fun of this?
Why?
Remember how I said that Raven McCracken was inspired by comic books by quite a bit?
Which one is this
This
based
is the
off of?
Brood. This is the Xenomorph parody that Marvel Comics made that first appeared in X-Men, where they were dealing with the Shi'ar Empire while they were in space.
Oh.
This is the Brood. They propagate like the Brood. They gain the
They have a
power of the
queen.
host like the Brood. This is the fucking Brood. On the one hand, shame on you for doing this. On the other hand, this is actually really good to have on hand. Like, I'm not kidding. The Brood is an actually pretty good antagonist if you want to just like have some weird fucking. You can kind of do this a little bit with mind flayers because they can kind of absorb details from what they eat from you.
Also, we have the Shan here, in which they are mostly human, but they have fine skin-colored fur and cat-like eyes.
Anyone who has touched the planet's surface is unclean. And they have a caste system.
Yep. We also have the sharks, which, like the dolphins, can metamorph into a human in one attack.
Except for
Except for the
tiger
tiger
sharks,
shark.
which turn into a cat. Like,
Yeah.
aw, that's adorable. The best part is
But
tiger sharks will literally eat anything. They have a bad case of pica. Here's all the sharks you can. There, look at the tiger shark. Look at this goofy
it's
fucking.
an actual tiger shark.
Aw,
That
that's
is
that's
that is I,
fantastic.
I I love that.
That's
It's so
fantastic.
goofy.
They should have the leopard shark do that too. By the way.
Uh, let's see.
Nurse shark. The potent power of a nurse shark is the ability to give life to those killed within 2 hours.
Wait, check out the Tenosians.
Tenosians. There's the assimilator
Four,
snake.
four, 433.
Let's see, where are you? There's a lot of snakes because snakes are pretty fun. Same with spiders. Oh, it's that.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
No, that's
trying to
Battletoads.
avoid copyright claiming.
No, this is Battletoads. This is Battletoads after they took meth. Look at him. Look at this fucking dude.
And yeah, they ride whales.
Their skin is coal black with the red bellies.
The Illusion Tree, which they no, they are an actual tree, but they also shoot victims with its 2-inch dart-like thorns, uh, which kills them within 3 turns by way of a chain reaction within the red blood cells, transforming them into white blood cells.
So that is a horrifying way to die, and it can do it just from suffocating you, but that's not the most efficient way. I will say, however, there are Did you know there are trees that can kind of spontaneously explode shrapnel like this? There is a
Why is
tree.
this a hell planet?
There is a tree that legitimately has a fruit, if I recall. It's either a fruit or the bark is prone to exploding.
Why
Not from
not?
fire, just from pressure.
Oh, he's up.
There is also another tree native to Australia, or it's not a tree. I think it might be a plant.
Oh, you could just stop native to Australia. I already know it's deadly.
It's not deadly at all. What instead happens is it has these little fibrous points, and it emits a chemical that basically feels like you're constantly burning an acid for weeks, because that's how long it
Burning
takes for the
math.
compounds to just. That's how long it takes for the compounds to disengage. And we only found out about this species because the first guy who ran into it, he couldn't take the pain and ended himself after 2 weeks of enduring it.
Let's see some of the other things. The Trolloc, they're actually a mysterious race of transformed mage warriors, gnomes, and shadow masters. They have at least 40th level. It causes them to become ageless and very powerful.
I think it's really funny Australians are afraid of North American wildlife because we have big animals. That's kind of weird, Squirrel Killer, because to me, I think it's more disturbing that there is a species of animal in Australia that it has a tactic where it sits in a watering hole to try to lure you in to strangle you to death in the water. Kangaroos do this, by the way.
Oh, hold on. Then there is the Tooch's phased plague beast, which releases 7 types of gases, one of which molecular cancer. It is a gray gas, and after 1 turn of exposure, causes the body to fall apart at the molecular level.
You know, this is if I had a nickel for every time we read a bad RPG book that had the ability to turn people into a pile of screaming tumors, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a
What would be the
lot, but
first?
it's weird that it happened twice.
What's the first nickel from?
Stigmata, one of the robot powers, is legitimately you microwave a person into a screaming pile of tumors and pulped flesh. Technically, it would be 3 nickels if you include Vampire the Masquerade, because that's a power the Zimichi have. Why turn someone into a
Let's
chair
see.
when you can turn them into a screaming massive fucking cancer? Skedaddle, skedoodle, I give you glioblastoma.
Then we have flesh fever, which after 2 turns, the victim spontaneously combusts.
I like this horrifying creature because then it can also just give you leprosy.
Well, it's called leprosy, but instead you just learn 3/4 of your life points permanently.
So do you want to know why?
No,
Do you want to know that? Did you know that leprosy isn't actually the disease that causes your skin to rot apart? That's not what does it. Do you know what actually does it?
I'm assuming the biological reaction to the bacteria.
Oh no, the other bacteria, because what it actually does is it destroys it actually destroys your nerves. So what happens is your skin gets numb and you don't really pay attention to the abrasions. It also, because of how it infects the body, it does occasionally cause flare-ups that cause the flesh to rot, but that's just more to the white blood cells panicking.
Yeah. Then we have null fever, which causes loss of powers and abilities for 10 days or until cured.
I'm okay with
It's
that.
tolerant.
I'm okay with diseases. I actually love when people make diseases for
Oh,
settings.
then it's a gas that gives you rabies.
Oh, that's fun.
Took's
I
flu.
guess I'll just fucking die unless we have magic to cure that.
Took's flu. After 4 turns of being exposed, 75% of the victim's strength and constitution points are lost until cured. And then the deadly neurotoxin.
It's invisible and odorless.
They
By the way, they can be encountered
yeah.
anywhere, so at any point you can just stick this thing on your players and just watch as they die. Sea unicorns! It is a silver ore and will not harm anything. If struck by its horn, all abilities and spells are nullified for 1 hour. They don't explain what. I guess it's just like a seahorse, but with a horn.
Also, the mutant vampire,
Oh, no,
or
no. The
Vlad.
Uniwolf. They are golden furred wolves with a singular horn on their heads. They are highly
Oh,
intelligent and telepathic, making their home on the Enchanted Continent. They can sense auras and hate all evil. However, allowing for compatibility in this area, they make excellent pets and companions, so if you ever go to the Enchanted Continent, you could fucking get one of these as a pet.
but then we
Yeah,
have
fuck
the
it, why not?
mutant vampire, Vlad. They do not suffer in sunlight or any of the old superstitions, uh, as they are not manifestations of evil power.
They became vampires to survive. They are trained in the Terra Mountains outside of the city. There they learn to use the power of vampirism. That's kind of amazing.
Rock, weird.
Weird rock, huh?
Yes.
Um,
Fuck.
they have a cloak of
They're
mist
also
on their skin. They lie in wait. When a tasty creature comes, it leaps up and unfolds what appears to be a huge mouth with stone teeth. That's horrifying.
I actually fucking love that. By the way, they can leap.
It can leap 50 feet horizontally and 20 vertically. That is that is the most terrifying thing I've actually heard in this game.
I think
Just
I know what his
a
inspiration was.
giant rock. and it opens up and there's teeth.
That's fantastic. I fucking love that. By the way, there is the giant silverbacked wolf, and then there's the black titanium wolverine, which that just sounds. They're covered in. They are armored wolverines. Just die. Just you're fucked. No, you're just ruined.
The Zapathians, which are giant blue brains with tentacles.
See what I mean? Like, don't you like
Yep.
this? Like, there's like a lot of creative monsters in this manual.
Yep. Zeerts, which are
schizophrenic.
3
And I'm just
feet in
realizing
height.
too, Brock is just basically a mimic now that I'm thinking about it.
And then, yeah, it is. But
it's actually compared to, I think they're called. I think it's compared to dark mounts. Dark mounts tend to mimic stalactites.
And then
I think
zombies.
ropers also sometimes mimic stalagmites.
Okay, here's Raven's interpretation of a zombie. It is not a creature, but rather a microorganism. The zombie virus is transmitted by physical contact or prolonged exposure. It can fully control dead body, using the body as a means to spread itself.
Okay, so it's a colonial organ. Okay, I've actually.
It's
So here's the thing.
Mignol from Star Wars.
It's comparable to that. It is a colonial organism. Okay. Actually, this reminds me of. There's a very interesting book. It's like a neat little novel, where a vampire is actually not the person. It is the blood animating the body.
What's the book?
I forget the name, but it was basically a guy goes to a dive bar and runs into a vampire.
Also,
it's pretty fun. It's a pretty interesting twist. But yeah, I love this idea where it's a colonial organism.
The body will never decompose, as it heals 1,000 life points per turn. If an arm is severed, it will grow into a full zombie within one set.
Oh god, it reproduces by budding.
Certain forms of the virus can generate constitution
No,
enough to use magic
you
or
forget
earth power.
the awful thing. Infected zombies automatically gain anywhere between 1 to 400 strength. Reminder, that is as strong as a dwarf. So imagine if they possess a dwarf body.
And it remembers. It can transfer memories between infection and it holds its creation 46,342 years ago in an evil alchemist's vat. The alchemist had a usual goal of ruling the world. The virus will use any dead creature's body. The only noticeable difference will be a change in the creature's eyes. I realize this.
This is Mongol.
It's even worse. I think Mignon affects living, but you can kill parts of Mignon. If the body doesn't pose, you can't. The only thing you could probably do is launch it into space, but it still is alive.
Well, no, you destroy the microorganisms. That can get burned.
Anything in contact for 1 minute will be infected.
Yep. Also, here's the other thing.
This thing just needs to walk into Terra, and that city's gone.
Well, no, here's the worst part. Resistances. It's resistance to the primordial true naming of magic. It's resistant to VN, one of the most powerful sources of magic. It is 50% resistant to something that usually has no resistances to. It usually bypasses resistances.
And I think with that, I do have to say,
that's actually really fucking scary, and I love it. By the way, you can run up to 2 to 10 of them.
Is probably one of the most, I'm going to say, creative settings that I've heard of.
Also, here is another Valkyrie. This is near the end of the book. I just wanted to show this.
We did not really go over gameplay. I think that's kind of the point, because the gameplay is just...
It's rough. It is rough as hell.
Schizophrenic.
But the creatures, the powers, at least from what we got, it's very much going for this insane, over-the-top bullshit.
The biggest problems, because since we didn't go over the mechanics, and I'm not sure if we are, is that we kind of showed this with character creation. There's always a logic to what was put into it. Like, there's always the understanding on why it works this way.
But McCracken's logic is not our logic.
No, his logic makes sense to him. The problem is he always assumes that you know exactly what he's thinking.
Listen, he is operating on a 12th level intellect, while we are operating on much less.
We got infected by the himbo virus, that's why. But basically, he has a habit of... It's a problem that a lot of creators have, creators and engineers. You know the systems, right? But try explaining that
Nope.
to someone who doesn't. Include a little bit of, I'm just going to be blunt, include a bit of autism into that, where you assume that they know what you know.
And that they will be fine knowing what you know.
Or they should be able to pick it up instantly because, hey, I'm able to run this perfectly. You should be able to figure this out perfectly and right then and there. I don't know if we're going to cover more on Synnibarr. There's definitely more material in here. I will say that. Like, for
I
fuck's
will
sake,
say I definitely.
there's different dimensions. We didn't even cover the dimensions. Sorry, Biggs.
I honestly, it would be
No.
interesting to
Sorry,
do.
Biggs. What?
I feel like I already went through a journey just looking through this fucking Monsters Handbook, man.
Oh God, yeah.
I kind of would want to at some point actually run a game with this. It just...
Oh boy.
There's this setting here, it just seems insane and batshit. It'd be interesting to do just some weird one-shot where even if the entire game is just fighting the creature that spreads 7 types of gases that will kill you.
Good luck
It'd just be
remembering all
interesting
the
to see how
fucking
it would
rules for
work.
this bastard.
I wouldn't necessarily say no to trying it because, let's be blunt, this is clunky, but honestly, it's not that much worse than Rifts. It's
It's not
bad.
that
It's
much.
rough in
I
a
mean,
few spots, and it's
the
not
big difference
as...
with
It's about comparable to Shadowrun 5th. I mean, Shadowrun 5th is more like you can grok 5th a lot easier, but
the big difference is just everything is thrown at you. Like
yeah.
Rifts, if this was Rifts, there'd be like 4 or 5 different separate books with all this stuff in there.
And some pretty cool kick-ass art too.
Yes.
But like I said, I don't know if this is going to be the last of the Synnibarr episodes. There might be one more, but I think we're going to pivot to something else next week. What that is, honestly, I'm going to say it. Provide suggestions in the comments or on our post, because I community post each of these before then. If you thought that Synnibarr was interesting, feel free to get a copy of it, of the 3rd edition, which actually splits up the book and I think is a little more readable on RPG Drive-Thru, which is in the link. And actually, you can provide suggestions to us in the Discord. Right now, some of the ideas include covering a little more Cthulhu, swinging back to the World of Darkness with one of the books, or actually, there is a Powered by the Apocalypse RPG that I've had for a while, and Imp actually suggested we cover. Come on, comrades, we need to show you how we can use this book about liberating the proletariat to instead save the national race and bring the nation via the crucible of war to the eternal and bright future of dominating the world, as is our right according to history and to the mystical nature of our society.
Hell.
So I'm not sure what we'll cover next week. It's kind of open. I might run a poll, might not. I'll take suggestions, but we have ideas.
Maybe something Thanksgiving themed, since next week will be the American Thanksgiving.
Probably bloody not, since there's not many specialized RPGs for every holiday, you know?
Just like the average Synnibarr character that thinks they're worth hot shit.
Hey!
But yeah, we'll figure it out. See you guys next week.
All right.